There
you go. We're live.
And we're live.
Good evening, people. Tonight I've got Peter, John S, Dave, and Cookie.
Kiwi
We've had a pleasant day, and it's just open mic night, really. No general subject, really. We're just going to chat amongst ourselves, as usual, as what we do on the weekend. Is anybody like to join?
There you go. We're live.
And we had a feedback. Sorry about that. But yeah, you know the usual. If you want to join, just give us a shout in the chat box and we'll give you a link. Anybody want to kick off with anything?
This kiwi's delicious.
Go on, John, then we'll let you kick off, seeing as you shouted up first.
Well, I'm eating a kiwi fruit. I'll put in a minute.
Dave, go on. You must have something to start off with this evening.
Hi Dean, hi rest of the guys here. Hope my audio's coming through okay.
Yep. With that, Dave.
I suppose we should start with ISIS. Maybe just throw that open to the room right away.
Yeah. No, good choice. I was going to say that, but I thought it's been done to death. But no, yeah, I agree with that.
Well, plenty of angles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, start us off, Dave.
Well, it's 14th century cults, isn't it? Regarding the moon, the sun, and the earth, and how they all sort of tie into each other. I don't think that should be understated. The relevance. I think it's just the same old archetypes, the same old things that they keep using time and time again. The people keep falling for it. They don't need to change it up, because if it isn't broke, why fix it?
Exactly. But I'd like to know how they found these chemical weapons myself.
It's brilliant. That's brilliant, that, isn't it? It's like, oh no, we found them now, or they found them. It took ISIS to find them, but it's, you know, it's you see how the fear they plant in the population of the blowback now, coming from fighters that come from here that have gone there and decapitated people, and now they're going to come back here, and it's all fed into you like in HD now on through Sky. They almost like it's Sky are almost complimenting them on the marketing, on how well they shoot their videos. It's crazy. Crazy.
The Hollywood production values have got to be questioned as well. Where's the money coming from?
Well, they talk about, that's all Sky were talking about actually, with financiers, but yet they wouldn't name a single one.
Well, I saw CNN complaining and it was so overproduced. So I think they were jealous.
Yeah, it's good irony, CNN complaining about that.
Mm-hmm.
We need their green screen. Look how good their green screen is.
Yep.
They've got better reporters than us and actors.
Yeah, and they have to show it, so.
Yeah, I find it hard now to see how people don't see through this. I mean, how long were they there looking for chemical weapons? Then they admitted there was none. But now they've gone to Saddam's old house and they found them under this bloody flower pot. What's all that about? Do you not think of looking there? You know, it's just like a. Well, it is. It's just a world stage, isn't it? Comical.
So just a little bit of history repeating. So.
You're very musical tonight, Cooker. It's very musical.
It's a solstice.
I'm going to screencast this and tape that.
The moon was going through full phase as well, wasn't it? So it's a lot of energy going around at the moment, and yeah, I prefer it to be positive energy. So
I'm going to say hello to Key. I don't know if you can see her. She's there.
it looks like you've got night vision on. Everything looks green. Hello.
It does.
There she is. Can you see her? I don't think you can see her.
Can just
Yeah,
see.
anyway, she's next to me. Yeah, she's my shadow. Absolute shadow. She is. Everywhere I go, she's there. And that's including the lavatory. I didn't want to go there anyway. Let me finish this key win.
I missed the first bit of that conversation though, and I'm so at a loss at what Jim's just said.
Dogs watching me. it was dogs watching a human have a poo. That's what I was referencing.
But no, I just thought you had a spiritual follower. That's why I'm like, well, I was just saying hi to James. James has just joined us in the chat room, and we've got James Pretty Puppies with us at the moment. What? You have something we can gas about tonight. I'm at a loss because I spent like 6 hours playing with the PC because it kept crashing on me. So I've got to run diagnostics and all sorts on it. But I managed to get it up and running about 10 minutes before Peter messaged me.
Who's that?
So I've not really looked at any news whatsoever today, apart from I've seen the black activity at Yellowstone, that were it.
How did the corporation get on at the World Cup? I didn't take any notice of it. Still not.
They ate lots of donuts.
Yeah, what? Don't know. I'm not watching anything of it, mate. No, I think I watched first match. I've got prediction at scores right both times. I just didn't have a bet on it. I'll just have a dip in, see what's in the latest news, see if we can get a subject out of that.
Well, I found an interesting science article. Touches on something we talked about yesterday. I posted in the chat. Maybe you can screen share it, Dean.
Yeah, no problem. Peter?
What's it about, Peter?
Well, you have to see it. You have to see it. You have to see it to believe it.
I thought it was going to be something serious. Just got a glimpse of it there. Can we full screen that?
It is? Is that right? Oh, can you see
Yeah,
that?
I thought that was very funny. So because we touched on that a little bit yesterday.
Can you see that, right?
Does it say that he was actually caught?
I don't know if they felt caught.
No,
Like
yeah,
embarrassed. Like oops.
Yeah, if they felt shame.
Yeah. Well, they just finished watching Brokeback Mountain.
Well, maybe.
What can you do?
I don't know. I don't know how they feel about homosexuality in the best society. It could be shunned, and this is like a rare thing.
But don't you know about the bears in, well, it's partly Germany, but it's sort of that sort of central area of Europe? I thought you'd know about this, Peter. No?
The bears of Europe?
Bear, it's a sort of common euphemism for homosexual guys who are fairly big and burly and bearded and all that lot. They're bears.
Wouldn't you been considered a bear, Cooker?
I'm sure.
That's the hairy man, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure some guys out there probably do sort of see me in that fashion. I'm not homosexual, by the way, but you know, they might very well see me in that kind of fashion. I don't know.
No, I've heard of that bear thing. That's come across me. That's come across.
I don't know, but if I would be walking through the woods and I would see that, I would be quite surprised.
I would just
That would be quite a spectacle and a definite YouTube hit.
like a mummy and daddy one. How would you know that it was both males unless you was really close? Unless they've got really big penises. Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't know.
I've just read it. That is.
Over several years, did it say?
You have to make it a little smaller, Dean. It's a bit too big for us to see the whole article.
How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Tell us when you've caught up and I'll move it down.
Oh yeah. The Club of Fellatio-Loving Animals just gained a new member. Oh, it's an actual club. There's a club. We're included in that club. I think we're the captains.
First, you commit it.
Ba-boom.
Scientists. Go on, sorry.
Regularly engaged.
Scientists have observed a pair of male brown birds in captivity in Croatia that regularly engaged in oral sex over several years, while the creatures in this case study likely do it for pleasure. The fellatio habits might have started because they were forced to wean too early. That's me, that. I read sometimes in front of myself and it comes out jumbled.
What's the confusing teats with penises?
Yeah.
I think that's a totally different ballgame, that.
Yeah.
That's the wrong kind of milk.
Yep.
Oh, the researchers suspect the two unrelated male birds in the study were orphaned soon after they were born in 2003 and put in captivity in a sanctuary in Croatia. Croatia. Over the course of 6 years and 116 hours, very precise, of observation time.
So this was in captivity, this wasn't in the wild. So they've got footage of this.
Yeah.
They've studied
got
it
hours
for
and hours of
116
tape.
hours. Yeah.
It's on the internet somewhere, that. Someone would have paid money for that.
Well, don't Google bear porn, you get something totally different. I'm pretty sure of that.
It was a good job. That was referenced early, wasn't it?
Cheers, Peter. That tickled me, that one. I struggled reading that, which I can't
Come on now.
Actually,
Go that way, go on. Go that way, go on.
I can't believe you actually filmed it. Oh no. I'm not telling that to Alita. A new all meaning to animals.
Right, go.
Well, I thought we started off with a funny, something funny.
I didn't know that.
It could be construed as smut. Rather than comedy, but it's all good.
UK news.
I tell you what, what's the adult game like? I used to work in the adult industry, right, Peter? And I smoke pot, so I've got a lot of affinity with Amsterdam and stuff like that. Is it still as big as it was, like the adult game, or has the internet killed it off just as much as it has in this country?
Yeah, I'd say so.
The only things that you can sell now is dildos and knickers in shops. You know, the Ann Summers style, like they knew where the market was because everything else just went on the internet.
I'm not into that business that much, but I would presume they all went into niche markets.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, specialized.
Like when you was going to name some.
I don't know.
Come on, what are these niche markets be?
Oh, what's the latest trend? Furries?
We've mentioned a niche market there with them bears, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
See how it all links together.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Could be up to something.
No, but yeah, I used to work in like the adult industry, so it was.
I wonder if it would be
See how the
classified
internet-
under animal porn. Would it be classified as animal porn? Like illegal? Would it be illegal?
What animal porn?
Well, it is to. It's illegal to have sex with animals.
It's, well, bestiality. I know it's illegal to distribute images of. It's I think it's under is it under the indecent something or that
Right,
or whatever it is.
But it's okay when two bears give oral
It's
sex.
okay. It's okay to watch animals doing it together. It's probably okay to watch a chicken and a bear. You know what I mean? When you put a throw in a human, it's just a no.
Are they trying to suggest that if two males share a house together, at some point they're going to end up 69ing?
No, he's accidentally gonna fall and trip, stumble.
I thought it was a nipple.
I accidentally fell on it. Sorry.
Yeah, that passed the mind with the adult game there. I'll just let me cover my tracks there. I'm not in it anymore. I did learn a lot though, but I'm not in it anymore.
Right. I'll go through the archives.
I was never in it in that sense neither. More like business type thing, but yeah, it was the internet killed it. The internet killed it.
What do you think about this Russian troops on full alert?
And where they be in combat ready now?
Yeah.
That's,
So 5,000 troops began a week. 40 drills, and the country builds up its forces on the border of with Ukraine.
I think it's quite measured, isn't it, really? And it's always has been measured from the Russian side in most of these conflicts that we've seen over the past few years. It seems that are a lot of the reckless ones. And so whatever's been, everything's measured out in it. Whether it's our side or their side or what if there is sides, who knows? It all seems to be very measured. Yeah. And what's going on the ground is very. It's partisan, innit? Everything's just. There's two sides and nothing looks real from either side, and then there's nobody in the middle going, look, this is what's fucking really going on. It's even that Vice News, you can't trust what they show, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, you definitely can't trust Vice News. Tell you that, but yeah, watched them since near enough they started, and they will quite happily carry agendas fairly often.
Yeah, where are the faces that started this? The Klitschko's, the Pajetsco's, the BPP's, and I don't know. All of them got bought, and they got what they wanted.
What did they get? Did they get a piece of the gold? That's gone.
Well, Klitschko is mayor of Kiev, I believe. No, so.
Oh, he's wearing gold then. He's wearing it.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that picture of this weapon that's supposedly used? You know what it looks like? You know, like a dart out of a pellet gun.
Can you say that again?
Oh, sorry, I was leaning forward away from the mic, sorry. Anybody seen this picture of this so-called weapon they've used?
No.
I'll
Share it. Screen share.
Just share it now. It actually looks like a dart out of a pellet gun.
.22.
Yeah.
Or 22, should I say, not .22. 22.
A pro-Russian specialist with a weapon he claims was used by the Ukraine troops.
Has he not just made that
I was
from like stuff that he found in his pocket?
I thought it was his dart set off his action man.
Mm. Was the allegedly phosphorus being used up to now? That's an Israeli thing, that isn't it? But,
it's not just Israel, it's just that one of the classic examples is always the video footage from when they fired it over Gaza.
Mm.
They've used it in various places all over the world. Israel always comes up like that classic example. So
that's the images that burn in your mind. It's quite literally, if a piece of phosphorus fell on your head, it would burn in your mind. They don't stop there. It's a disgusting weapon. Disgusting as most is really.
Fallujah.
Yeah, Free Fire Zone. Free Fire Zone. That was just a test bed, that's all. That was just a testing zone. 1 second, let me go and sort my dog now.
Pope denounces evil crime syndicate.
what,
Yeah, well,
denouncing the Vatican.
Sorry.
Does that mean he's denouncing the Vatican?
Yeah, there were similar thoughts going through my head when I seen it. Pope Francis has described Pope Francis has described an Italian crime syndicate as the Barton of evil.
They're no longer welcome in the church.
Must be taking over their game. What about
Have you watched any of the footage from the march in London this afternoon?
Only little bits, Cookie. Only little bits.
Yeah, I've only seen a couple of clips.
Russell Brand's been up speaking, hasn't he?
Yeah, I saw that one on the We Are Change channel.
Mm.
Well,
I mean, it's all good. It's all good as far as I can see. Apart from when you actually go to one of these things and then you see it in reality, and it's quite controlled. It's all quite nicely controlled.
Yeah.
So it's you can be spontaneous yourself. I think if you go there with some like-minded people and get other people thinking, but even on a protest, there's the pack mentality. Or the flock mentality, and is the people in control. And you might be going there with all good intention and going on a protest, and you're just being controlled from start to finish.
I've just typed in London March videos. No more austerity. Thousands rally in London demanding a million mass march in London video. That's 6 of November. Up at top one 2 hours ago.
I think I've seen a video with, is it Caroline Lucas, and she was calling her colleagues in Westminster thieves. I thought that was good.
I'm not sure this one, it's starting. Yeah, where did I see, can't I?
I don't know.
What else anyway, I was starting on it.
As far as I know, as long as it's not Ruptly, because that's specifically the Russian news video clip channel that doesn't allow you to use their footage. If it's just a normal RT footage, then you shouldn't have any problems using it because it's news coverage, which is fair use. So.
RT, question more.
Britons are marching on Parliament, demanding the government rein in its wave of cuts. Among the protesters, celebrities and union leaders, all upset with the blanket austerity imposed by London. We can cross now live to RT Sarah Firth, who's standing by. Sarah, so a good turnout at the march then?
Absolutely. We're right in the heart of the march at the moment. The anti-austerity protesters walking down towards Parliament Square. And a huge number of people turning out. We estimated it to be in the thousands already. And protesting a whole range of issues. Cuts to education, cuts to the NHS. There really is a massive turnout and a massive number of people. We can actually talk very briefly now to Owen Jones. You remember the People's Assembly. There's so many issues here today. Hard to kind of distinguish exactly what's at the heart of this movement.
There's lots of different issues. The fight for living wage, fight for housing, fight for workers' rights, fight for public ownership of the banks, for tax justice against tax avoidance and so on. We like to internationally as well. Speaking for myself, I'd want to support movements, for example, well, take Russia, where people are obviously fighting against a very oppressive regime.
How much is it in?
There, which is denying people basic human rights and committing acts of injustice. So it's having that international perspective, I think, is really, really important.
Absolutely, and I mean the thing is that a lot of people are asking me, seeing lots of these.
That, please, Dean.
Yeah.
What was he referencing Russia for then? I know it's an RT correspondent, but you're an anti-austerity cut in the UK. Why are you even referencing what's going on in Russia?
That's Sam Owen. He's very left-leaning, and the current Labour agenda is to be opposed to Russia, just as all the other party political puppets are. So he conveniently, because he knows he's talking to an RT reporter, he conveniently slips in there it's a required jab against the Russian regime.
And it's the poster boy. He's the poster boy. He's Owen Jones.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, definitely. Owen Jones. That's his name. Sorry, I don't know what I call him. So.
I've never, you know, I'm aware of him obviously, but I'm not convinced by him. Certainly not convinced.
I won't off first few words. So I play it, Rez.
Carry on.
Good turnout today, but look, is it going to make a difference? And if so, what? Because the economy's getting better.
Well, no, not for ordinary people. It's the longest fall in living standards since Queen Victoria sat on the throne in the 1870s. Over 1 million workers driven into poverty since the Clegg Cameron Loving, where you have an army of zero-hour contract workers, people stripped of job security, 5 million people are still housing waiting list. So these are the issues which really affect people. I say, you know, this is an international campaign, as people in Russia and elsewhere know, that you stand up against injustice and oppression.
And it's a fantastic turnout, so thank you very much for that. I'm just going to show you behind me, because there's a huge number of people still marching down, and that's really at the heart of this. Whilst the government will say the economy has been on the up, it has been improving, but a lot of people here say that they've seen, as a result of the cuts that have been brought in to boost the economy, their living standards have fallen. And so those are the stories you're going to hear today as people have taken to the streets of central London to protest against austerity.
Sir, RT correspondent, thank you.
Thank you, not. Well.
That looked like a very well organized protest.
Yeah.
Lots of uniform banners.
Yeah, and printed banners and.
It's not such a military plug the agendas in as well.
Well, it certainly had to be authorised and organised to the level that it would be authorised, because you can see like the cordon, even though it's only like a little bit of string or whatever it is they've got that cordon along it, so they've already planned out the route that they were allowed to march on. And from the other clips I've seen, they had a little stage set up where they were doing speeches and whatever. So again, all that's got to be authorised and organised. More likely some of the unions that did it.
All were walking very obedient past the camera. Nobody was shouting anything at the camera, like austerity out, or grabbing extra attention. The guy was speaking flawless. So that was scripted.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I paused it and said how much they paid this guy.
I wonder how many takes it took to do that. And how many times those same people had to walk that block to get the shot. I don't know.
Where's Days gone?
I've just dropped in
off.
the end of saying protester, what does it do? It's a 1 million protested against Iraq war and nothing.
Protest to the system does not make the system change what it's doing. It makes people change what they're doing and how they view what the system is doing. So for me, I can agree that protest doesn't work in the way people want it to or hope it will. It doesn't make the system go, oh, we're sorry, okay, we'll change our mind and not go to war in Iraq. It doesn't do that. But it spreads awareness and it enables people to network amongst themselves.
Yeah. It's also easily controlled and easily infiltrated, but so is everything else.
Yeah.
This chat room is a good example. But yeah, it's.
That's why I don't tell people to not go and protest. If they feel they want to do that, great, do it, because at least they're doing something and it's a beginning for them to start on. You know, it's actually motion rather than just sitting at home and shaking at the TV. But at the same time, please don't go to a protest with the expectation that because you waved a banner and chanted a slogan, the government is suddenly going to change what it's doing, because it won't work that way. Not unless millions upon millions upon millions of people turn out. If there was a full-on general strike, and in every city and town across the country, everybody went and stood in protest outside the town hall or city hall or whatever it is, then it might have an influence. But this kind of protest does nothing but allow people to vent.
Cookie, there's a good example of what I think is a good way of protesting, where there's a group who are justice for this, that, and the other different issues, and they are basically camping outside the headquarters of police stations. and doing it with some quite, extremely well worded banners, and it gets right up the noses of the police. But it's also I suppose it's waking some police up directly, really is directly, because you can't miss them. You cannot miss them, and the police panic constantly about it. You can see it.
Yeah.
But I'm not anti-police neither. You see, I'm not. But I think that it's not Occupy. It's more of I don't know. It's a different style of thing, and they're small groups, so they're not easily infiltrated, and you get to know each other very, very quickly, I suppose. But not a lot of people have got the time or got the resources, even though all you need is a tent. But you've got to live.
There is another way of doing it, which, if you've been watching this kind of information for a few years, you may have noticed that it fairly rapidly sort of disappeared off the scene, because the authorities could see how effective it was, so they were cracking down on people doing it. It's what I'm not sure if it's really called this, but I call it chalktivism. Right. Any old chalk, get a bit of chalk. You can buy a box of different coloured chalks or white chalk or whatever, then it's not expensive. And when you're out in public places, especially when you're in big city or urban areas, write a message on the pavement or on a curbstone or on the wall. It's in chalk, so it does zero damage, and it will wash away at the next rain. Or if anybody's really offended, they can come out with a mop and bucket and clean it off, whatever. It does no permanent damage. You can write things like Google WTC7, or Google lawful bank, whatever your personal message is that you want to get across to people. You just scroll it on the pavement in chalk, carry on about your day. Whoever comes past that way is going to see it, and it'll plant a seed. It might not germinate, but then again it might.
That's a good idea, but people around here have kind of took that idea and ran with it, and what they do now is they paint so-and-so as a paedophile, or so-and-so is a grass, right? And they go down that route with it. But no, I can see where you're going with that. There's a guy who suffers from mental illness, He's whatever this I hate using the word, but he's got some level of schizophrenia, like we probably all have at some level. And he's been in and out of hospitals. He's quite well known in the area, but he does chalk drawings on the floor of stuff that's like very, very reminiscent of South American Aztec, style stuff. It's really weird. It really is weird. But yeah, that's what he does. That's what he does.
I think it's a good idea.
This is why it works well with doing it with chalk, because you are somewhat covering your own ass because of the fact that it's so impermanent. Painting stuff, that classic problem of it's been going on for however many years, decades. People doing things like painting pedo on somebody's door or painting a swastika on the local synagogue and all that kind of shit. If you use paint, they can and will prosecute you, because they will claim that you're causing damage of a permanent nature, whereas chalk can just be wiped off.
Yep.
That's why it's probably in town centres when you've got the artists sat drawing massive 3D sketches on the floor, isn't it? Of them as well.
You just sparked an idea that I couldn't do myself. I'm not that good at drawing to be able to do it, but you get the street artists who will paint your portrait or sketch your portrait or whatever. Get these a lot in London. If you set it up in such a way where you're offering to do somebody's portrait, but when they sit down, you paint something like a political slogan banner, and then just offer to sell them that. It's like they probably won't buy it, but it's the fact that you get the opportunity to show it to them. Go, look. Sorry, I like surrealist angles like that, because sometimes people are in such a sleepwalk that you need that sharpness, that tangent of something surreal, like absurdism, to trip them up and make them stop and actually start a thought process, because they're going so through the motion, they're so robotic. Even their thoughts are robotic. They're thinking about what was on the TV last night, where they're going to buy dinner from this evening, are they going up the pub to meet with their mates later, stuff like that is ticking over in their head. And all of a sudden, a guy on a unicycle riding past dressed as, whatever, something that carries a political message will make them go, what the hell was that? And they'll have to think about it. They'll have to actually stop and think about it, because it's so out of the normal. Their brain, their ego is required to process it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this reminds me of Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Remember that scene where he's like with that chalk and he write it's a Roman guy telling him how to write it, and I'm sorry, but
Romans go home.
Yeah.
What's this? Romans in the house. Conjugate your verbs, boy. Yeah.
Has there been a better comedy movie than that? I doubt it.
No, but it does illustrate how one side is very much asleep and isn't even aware of what is being written on the wall, and how old it is. Again,
its context is lost. The context is lost. You shouldn't even need translating.
Mm-hmm.
Gene's Pretty Pups are just saying a woman in USA got done for writing on the sidewalk with chalk, saying 911 was an inside job. I think that's probably more what she wrote than what it was with, wasn't it?
Well, this is the thing. Like I said, it seemed to disappear off the scene. At least a couple of years ago, I saw a few people doing it a couple of years ago, and you'd see them post videos and stuff of the reactions of people walking past and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it just seemed to disappear. Nobody was doing it anymore.
and I'm pretty sure they would arrest us here also if they would see us chalking up some bank building or whatever. So just to ask for what the fuck are you doing or whatever. They probably couldn't prosecute us, although I don't know, it's not something permanent, so
Yeah.
I don't know, but probably if you get caught red-handed here, you probably get taken away also. So it's not something that happens just in the US or.
What would they do you for?
Some stupid public order, isn't it? Public order of some sort.
Yeah, probably a public order offence of some kind. Yeah, you frighten some poor old woman's dog such that it now farts at an angle, whatever, some shit like that.
Yeah, and this sets an example again, and so other people think twice before they do it. But I would just encourage to do it more because they don't have the space, the time, and the means to stop it. If everybody would just keep on doing it.
Another one to do that I've seen people do before is in the supermarkets. So the supermarkets are a bit more on the ball about this kind of stuff nowadays because they have so many 0-hour contract workers who are under threat of sanction that they have hundreds of them running around the store checking every single detail of the store every 2 seconds. But the point is, when you see the price ticket on the shelves, the way a lot of them do it now, it's like a slide-in thing so that they can change the tickets as and when the price of the products alter, or they can put for special sale offers, buy one get one free offers, stuff like that. If you've got yourself some little cards, write your message on them and then just do your stroll through the supermarket and randomly just go and slide one of these things into the tab holder. So again, it's planting seeds from a angle in such a way that it makes people stop and think. Because somebody will be zombie walking through the supermarket, they'll be looking for something, and your message will be in their vision. They'll be like, "Well, what's that there for? What's going on?" I think, what was it? Somebody was telling me about they did a while ago. This is like taking more of a risk because they were actually marking products, so you could get done for damaging products that were on sale. But it was on tins of tuna, and he was going around just basically drawing a quick radioactive symbol on the tin of the tuna and putting it back on the shelf.
I got a story like that. A nephew of mine, he worked in a peanut butter factory, and peanuts were coming from Iraq. Iraq is the main source of peanuts, I believe. And so he was putting war pictures of children shut up and inside the peanut butter. It was a little traumatizing probably for the children opening that peanut butter and like, "Mama, what is this?" But okay, yeah, he got away with it pretty long. So never found out it was him. Maybe now they do. Maybe now they do. So yeah, you can do stuff like that.
It's a good way as well, isn't it? I mean, how many people buy peanut butter?
Yeah. See, this kind of stuff to me is a better way to protest, because they're walking up and down outside Downing Street waving a banner and chanting a slogan. All you're doing really is creating sound bites for the news cycle, and you might be reaching a few people who are walking past. You might pass a message on here and there. But this kind of like surrealist, absurdist, tangential way of putting seeds out there to catch people's attention spreads the message much more effectively, because you catch people off guard. You make them think about it because they weren't expecting to see something like that there.
I'd like to think it's wake up time already. I think people are waking up naturally. I really do. I think a lot more every day. So the more I speak to people, the more people are not fully aware of what's going on, as nobody could be really. But I think there's a more of a natural thing going on in the universe where there's an alarm clock going off, and those of us who really are, the sort of half there already, are really waking up and knows that I've got a little bit more to come. Might need a little bit help, but yeah, there's a natural thing I think going on. It really is. There's a naturalness to it.
Yeah, definitely agree.
They tried calling 2022 awakening, didn't they? I don't really noticed it more about a bit on the old YouTube. But I've seen quite a few videos knocking about saying Year of the Awakening 2013.
Yeah, that was. It's riding on the back of the Mayan prophecies, which that's a big subject to go into. But for me, just to simplify it, if I can, the date on 2012, even though that date itself, according to our calendar, may not necessarily have been truly accurate to what the Mayans were potentially predicting, but basically it boils down to it wasn't a singular instant moment of something magical going whoosh and then the world's all different. It was a shifting of energy, and that particular date in our calendar was just the fulcrum point of when the energy shifts from being balanced one direction to start balancing the other direction. At the same time, at the moment, we are entering into an area of space that has a energetic nebulous cloud, which NASA so far have been somewhat tight-lipped about what it could potentially contain, because basically they don't really know. All they've really said is that it's highly energetic. Yeah, and at the same time,
is that one that's being affected by something in the centre of the galaxy, or am I out to talk about something else?
This is one I was going to add. At the same time, our precession of the equinoxes means we are supposedly on the ecliptic plane in line with the centre of the universe, supposedly. I think that's a bit difficult to really accurately pin down, but that's another part of it. And at the same time, the sun has been going through its cycle change, which is supposedly a significant cycle change up to 24. Our magnetosphere has been weakening, which means we are being subjected to higher levels of solar radiation, and the sun is supposedly going to start getting more active.
It's on the waning now of a solar max, but the solar max hasn't been a solar max. It's been very, very, very low because the sun's magnetics are failing as well as ours. I think we're all connected with the sun. I've seen some schematics and some graphs from solar maxes going back from as far back as they can measure. And we're on a downward trend, and we're on like a spiraling down, but it's going to spiral out the other side of wherever it is we're going. But it's game time, certainly game time. It definitely is, because the sun's not behaving how it should be behaving, or how the predictions are for a proper solar max, but we're not having a proper solar max. Everything's being dampened down for some reason.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Cocky, but I understood the Mayan calendar as being the great year.
Yeah, it does. It matches one full round of their calendar matches to the precession of the equinoxes. Because as far as I'm concerned, that is what they made the calendar to do. That is why it is the way it is. Because they figured out through their astronomy and mathematics, they figured out how to create a calendar that quite accurately, very accurately, compared to a lot of modern calendrical systems, followed and tracked the precession of the equinoxes.
Yeah. That's us moving over to a new pole star. From what I can tell, I don't know whether I've understood it correctly or not. But every 3,600 years or something, we move over to a new pole star, and that's the great year.
Great year is like 256,000 years, I think, something or 252. I can't remember exactly. I don't know about the pole star thing.
Or
But
it's bits and bats that had just triggered something I'd come over a while ago, and
the cycle, the number you mentioned, the 3,000, I'm pretty sure there is a cycle within, because again, it's back to that circles within circles, wheels within wheels. There are cycles within the processional cycle as well, so, you know.
yeah. That, I'm on the understanding we don't only go round like that, as well as that, we do sort of
Through space as well, yeah.
So we're doing like 3 sort of circular motions.
Everyone seems to be getting keyed into this. Is it astronomer? I was going to say astrology then. Astronomer, but I think what is religion astronomy or a kind of mix of astrology and astronomy? How it's all originally started with religion, but it's all about what's going on.
Astrotheology is what you're thinking of.
Astrotheology, yeah.
It is. The majority of modern religions stem from a root that comes from astrotheology. So nearly all of them represent movements of the solar system and the galaxy and whatever. They're not visitations by holy people from outer space or from heaven or whatever version of their story it is.
Procession.
Yep. They put it this way, back in the day, supposedly, as far as we know and as far as the academic body will accept or say is the truth, people passed on information through oral tradition. They didn't write it down. They didn't have computer data files to store it in and whatever. They just told each other and they remembered it. Yeah. And a way to help you remember things, this is proven both neurologically and plenty of studies over the years have added evidence to this. The way your mind works, you're more likely to remember things that are in some kind of pictorial form. Your brain works better in terms of memory storage when you think of images rather than a string of words. Yeah. So for those people who do like memory competitions and stuff like that, one of the main tricks that they use to help themselves remember things is they make up a little story and they think of images to go with the storyline. So because it carries a narrative and the narrative is encoded in symbols in their head, the images in their head, they remember it more readily, right? So the ancients realized that one of the good ways to pass on knowledge and make sure that the knowledge stays the way you intended, the meaning that you wanted it to have in the first place, i.e., you know, digits aren't forgotten or something like that, you turn it into a story and you give people stuff that is quite emotively imaging. So they made up stories about heroes and gods and deities and dragons and all this kind of stuff, and the stories of what those characters do in their interaction is actually related to what's going on in the heavenly bodies. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Going back to the electric universe again, isn't it?
Do you mean all the spheres are referenced in the classics and stuff like that?
Yeah. It's like Saturn, Jupiter, you know, gods are the pantheons. The pantheon is just a way of naming everybody in the solar system that they could see.
Yeah. What's your theory on that electric universe, Cookie?
Me? What do you mean? What do I think?
It should be good. How long have we got? Electric universe. Yeah.
If you've not looked into
it, still evolving?
I highly recommend it if you haven't looked into the electric universe, because it is.
The Thunderbolt project are they a good channel to follow?
Yes. If you're interested in this side of it, yeah, this is where, for me, it merges a line between what I've been talking about, really sort of like mythology and cultural and societal narrative, stuff like that. They are approaching it from a scientific point of view, trying to explain the universe. And instead of using the standard academically enforced standard model of how the universe works. They're approaching it from a point of view of, as has been proven, I feel, proven in that empiricist way that they demand, atoms do not really have anything to them. There is no such thing as matter. Matter is a illusion based on the level of your interaction with it. We interact with it on a level where, yes, you know, if you do that, one hand hits the other, because the electromagnetic resistance of the molecules in one hand resist against the molecules in the other hand, so you're not actually putting one through the other. Yeah. But at its core, every molecule is just energy. There is no such thing as physical matter. If you take that as a starting point, then to explain the entirety of how the universe operates, Newtonian physics no longer really makes any good sense. It helps you understand how large bodies interact because of gravity, but it doesn't really explain where all this stuff is coming from. Whereas the electric universe, approaching it from the point of view of being pure energy on a quantum level that causes a lot of these effects, and then it's expanded onto an extreme degree to a galactic level, that is what enables the bodies to form the way they do, so we end up with stars and planets and whatever. It is a very, very big subject, but for myself, it's the best explanation so far.
I've not done enough actually, but I do know, Dean, there's another good channel, Suspicious Observers, that just give you the daily space weather, but they do it from a perspective of the electric universe, like using that as their kind of, right, yeah, we'll base it, our space weather off that, but actually using all NASA's tools and everything and show you how to watch the sun and everything. They're pretty good. Suspicious Observers, I'd recommend them, Dean, if you're into the electric universe and that.
I actually unsubscribed to him.
Right, so you're not into that then, no?
Yeah, but I did a bit of research on him as well.
Right, I'm with you. So you know more than me, obviously, because I've not properly looked into him, to be honest.
Tell me, please, because I've also done similar, and I don't find him to be suspicious enough for me to unsubscribe from him. So tell me what you know.
I'll do that another time.
Okay.
But yeah, he does good work, but he's got. I'll go into it 1 minute on a.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I do like the 4-minute news kind of. It's a copied template, I suppose, but it's easy to grasp, it's easy to understand, and yeah, you know, I don't know enough about the electric universe to really go off it. Like I don't even know how entropy ties into it or anything. So
that's just energy fading out as it goes through the
high to low, obviously.
Yeah, the path of least resistance.
Yeah, I know what actually entropy is, but I don't know how it's tied in with the electric. If it differs somehow with the electric universe, if it's I don't know. I'm not sure.
If you fire an electric charge, like if you set up something with a generator to make a spark jump between a gap, yeah, depending on how much power you put into that generator is how far the spark will jump through air, because even air has a certain amount of resistance. Yeah, that resistance will eventually, in an entropic fashion, wear down the energy so that the spark will only go a certain distance. Does that make sense for you? How the entropic effect, because of the kind of laws of thermodynamics, you know, the electric universe theory does not really contradict with a lot of those basic laws.
Right, that's what my understanding of it is very, very limited, because I don't know how much it contradicts, if it's turning things upside down, or if it's just more of an offshoot of some kind, a better understanding from a different angle or perspective.
No, it's sort of like burrowing right down to the base beginning of what forms what we normally call matter.
So they're going at a quantum level. They're going at a quantum level.
Yeah, because you're dealing with basic energy, or just the energy that forms everything else.
I kind of like the electromagnetic.
Yes, exactly. That's the best
it's,
terminology we've got for it at the moment,
yeah.
because we don't really have any other words to describe what it is.
I describe myself that as electromagnetic. That's how I describe myself.
We are electromagnetic beings having a physical illusion experience.
From consciousness.
Yep. Consciousness acts as the focal point that enables you to have a interaction method. It's the equivalent of your computer and your internet connection enabling you to do what we're doing now. If you imagine this Hangout room as being the reality, the 3D reality of our universe that we're experiencing, yeah, the computer that enables you to be in that Hangout room and see it and experience and participate in it is what's in there. It's your brain and your spirit energy, which some people call soul, you know, whatever, you give it whatever label you want, but it's that pure energy that is your consciousness, the spark that makes you live.
Get your ass back to that. So you've got to get your ass right back to what Cook is talking about there. Once you get right back to that, you get yourself centered, you understand what's going on. It's just that I can't describe things as beautifully. So Cook is good with it.
He's like a poet with his words, and
it's like liquid.
Don't polish my knob.
I won't go as far as that, Cookie. Bloody hell. I won't go as far as that. You're all right.
your take on it.
Much better than that.
You're breaking up now a bit. I don't know if that's my internet connection going bad.
I'm just saying the delivery was obviously much better for myself rather than me. I think it's mine. There we go.
Seems all right again now. It might have just been me getting a bit of lag.
Whatever it was, electromagnetism anyway, it was good.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
My computer crashed, so now I'm on mobile. So.
Oh, Lord.
Looks like I got similar problems as Dean. My BIOS got screwed by something. No, I don't know. I'll look into it tomorrow.
That does not happen by random fucking chance, mate. No way. Even with all the viruses that are out there on the net and whatever, you know, I've been on the internet since the early 90s. Your BIOS does not get altered by fucking chance, no fucking way.
What's happened to me? I know it's happened to Peter.
That requires...
and I don't know what happened to Days because he also dropped out, and I haven't heard from him. I Skyped him, but he didn't respond, so I don't know.
I've tried.
I don't know, maybe I'm looking into it too much. But
anyone who follows Anthony Mean should know he's...
I got a crappy computer, so it could be just my crappy computer.
It just seems strange, though, Peter, that you've got a BIOS problem and I had one today, and it took me a hell of a long time to sort it out today.
Yeah, it's saying it could be some corrupt piece of software corrupting my BIOS, and it's the same what you had. So.
Software does not alter your BIOS unless it's a very specific kind of software. Normal software that you would utilize day to day, day in, day out, will never ever go in to change your BIOS. It just doesn't. It's not required to. You have to get specific software that is deliberately made to do that kind of work, to change your BIOS in some manner.
Yeah, it altered something on my hard drive, and I only got one hard drive in my computer, so I run the system and all my programming from one drive. So if there's malicious software running on that hard drive, it could corrupt the BIOS that way. So
yeah,
I don't know.
boot sector virus will be able to get into your BIOS and fuck around with it, and it'll basically make the hard drive appear dead to the computer. So as far as the computer is concerned, there is no hard drive.
Right, that's what happened now.
I think
So all I got is a blue screen of that and a big fuck you from Microsoft.
Pops is going to join us. He's on about something about the BIOS. The feds have BIOS persistence implants. So if you erase your hard drive, it'll just pop the malware back again. He'll probably explain it better when he pops on. I know he's going to join us. He's going to be joining us.
Yeah, so certain hardware is hardwired. There's a chip inside or something that cannot be software altered. So
it's just very strange, isn't it?
Yeah, your BIOS is on a chip that's like solid state memory. That's why you have the little battery in your computer, like a watch battery, that keeps that powered. Not that it would lose the program even if it was turned off or unpowered. It doesn't. It just stays the same. But it's a RAM access. You can alter it. But like I said, you've got to use specific software to actually alter it.
yeah, well, I come from a Windows 95 age, so I'm not that worried about security, so-called security and backdoors and all that shit. It's in it.
Yep. They have been in there since the early 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be just the back side of the house was all open. Now it's just maybe the door or a window.
I'm suspicious that that's how they help or enable the planned obsolescence lifespans of your computer hardware. In the same way as I think it's been near enough proven, seen enough evidence to prove it, that in the majority of printers, if not all of them, there is a chip that has a countdown clock on it, and basically you're allowed to print out a certain number from that printer, and then once that number is reached, the printer will die, and you'll have to buy a new one.
Yeah, it's also on the inked cassettes themselves. Yeah. There's also a counter on it. Yeah. Bastards.
Because I've got bits of kit. I've got computer systems. I could put together a 486 computer. You know, running original Windows, not even Windows 95. I'm talking like original Windows.
Wow.
Yeah. And that stuff still works. So therefore, why is it that modern bits of circuitry, printed circuit board, seems to have a strangely 24-month lifespan? I wonder why that is.
Evening, Ox.
Well, somehow Linux computers also run way longer than Windows computers, although they use the same hardware. So, could be onto something there.
Yeah.
Hey, actually.
How's it going, man? What I was going to say is, yeah, the feds have got these BIOS implants, and so what they can do is, if you erase your hard drive or anything, they'll just put the malware straight back on to your system, so you can never get rid of it. And it is pretty rare for your BIOS to die, Cookie's right. That does not happen very often.
No, but it's not a new computer, so it could be just age.
But yeah, don't put down anything to malice if it's just...
I try to keep it up to date with the software and RAM and that stuff, but it's not the latest, greatest.
Well, when I finally got mine up and running again this morning, it just constantly, every time I tried opening a page, it just constantly crashed. And then I just ran all diagnostic programs, all my antivirus programs. Even went online and downloaded more and tried them, and every one of them was saying nothing wrong. Every time I tried opening another page, like going online, apart from diagnostic tools, it crashed. And then it come up BIOS error, something wrong with it, and it just shut down again. Because it just turns itself off when it crashes in it. I'll put that safety feature on it.
Well, if computers worked all the time, then people like me wouldn't have any work.
So,
Well, hopefully.
well, this is a HP 6000 compact. I can't remember the full name of it. Or professional something or other.
Oh,
Presario probably.
What's going on there?
Somebody's getting eaten alive.
Has anyone brought up that latest bullshit video that's going on news? That like ISIS recruitment thing?
No, crack on.
Yeah, that overproduced video. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it on the BBC yesterday, and even the BBC was saying, "No, this isn't confirmed, so you know it might be complete bollocks." And when the BBC come out with that,
Yeah, even CNN was saying that. Well, this is a bit overproduced.
that's
and it just stank. It just stank of like the old Bin Laden videos and all that sort of rubbish.
it's become a plausible deniability mantra for the last few years, since the rise of the social media, basically, of sources cannot be confirmed. So it enables them to show you any old shit, even though it's supposedly on a news channel or news presentation. They can show you anything, just so sources cannot be confirmed. So in other words, this could be complete lies. We don't know, folks.
It's very useful that it just happens to fit in to what we're trying to push.
Yeah, exactly.
It's even more bizarre because that Boko Haram is using the same flag as ISIS. So you couldn't
Is that
even
right?
say if it's Boko Haram or if it's ISIS doing that. Yeah, look it up. Just Google the image on the ISIS flag and the Boko Haram flag, and you can see them. They're the same.
Oh no, that's slipping up. That is, isn't it?
No, that's keeping it cheap. Reusing the same props over and over again.
You and Kit were on about that, weren't you? On Not the Agenda show. Or just in.
Yeah, we showed it there. Yeah.
I've just temporarily muted John. I heard a little bit of ruckus, and I don't think he would have liked that going live. So. Oh, I'm crashing again. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, my computer's just gone strange again. Everything's gone to pot.
Well, my screen first went black and then it went blue.
Everything's just gone extremely strange. Everything's changed size. My writing's gone minute and everything. I think it's just changed to lower running process, I think.
Right. Maybe there's something running in the background.
I'm just looking now, I'm just looking at my processor's actually running at 94%. Don't be anything else. No. I'm gonna shut Skype then. Strange how these are just cropping up like they have done like today. Even camera's gone a bit funny, hasn't it? Let's side truck going on. I'm still running at 90%. It only usually runs at 30, 35 when I've got Hangout on. It's a dual processor there. On here.
You can always have a look in Task Manager, see what processors are gobbling up all the processor time.
I'm just scared if I click on it now it might crash me. So I've actually got my this is actually on the CPU now and I don't know whether it's crashing or not. What I'll do is I'll show you now what's going on.
Hey Dean, did you hear anything else about that liability order thing that you got?
I haven't, mate, at the moment. I've not heard anything at the moment.
I told you I'd ask him to show it and prove that they've actually got one.
Well, I've actually asked them for it. That was the first thing at the live. Well, it weren't. It was actually, can I take your name? And whoever I'm dealing with, it wrote on the letter. You know what I mean?
Did I hear you say that they're trying to get you for money from somewhere you wasn't even living at?
Yeah.
Well, surely if you just take that to court and say that, then, you know, they've not got a leg to stand on.
Well, I haven't got, like, see what it was, I was living in a caravan at the time, but I've got curve of addresses where letters were going. And now the thing is, they sent me a letter through that curve address trying to get me to pay for that curve address around the same period of time. Now they've not bothered to cross-reference the dates and all that. Well, while I was talking to her on the phone, she was slowly finding this evidence that backed it up, but she was still saying it's not enough.
I'd fight that all the way, mate. You might find they'll drop it before it even gets to court if you say, well, you know, I'm innocent and I'm going to fight it. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I just leave them to it, mate. I just keep denying it, you know, because I won't go.
Yeah, exactly. Don't pay that. I've got to go and help with the rat. I'm going to be back in a few minutes.
No problem. He's still one of those things, but is it? I think it's just switching modes on its own, this at the moment, because everything's just changed again. Everything's just gone big again. So I've just started all the screens again now. But it's gone back to normal again. I've not had...
I'm gonna look into it tomorrow morning because I'm not up to any technical support now. I'm too baked.
Tell me you probably heard half of what has just happened.
No,
we muted you up.
That was unbelievable. Do you know what it's like round here? Saturday night, right, people have dogs like mine, but under less control, right, what they do is they get pissed, they open the doors. I've just had some big male pit bull go for my dog in its own fucking garden. Do you believe that? She's got big fucking bite marks in her head. Do you believe that? Do you know what they do round here? They get pissed, open the doors, and let male pit bulls run wild and free through the fucking estate. That's what they do. That's what they do round here. I just had to basically fight a fucking dog off my dog in my own garden. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's not even got a fucking chain round its neck or fuck all. Running wild and free, big male pit bull. Unbelievable.
Fuck, man. You're lucky you're not bitten. Didn't get you?
You know, look, mate, I had to go and run and get I've got a chain, and you want to see how fucking thick it is. I had to run and go and grab that. You know what I mean? While Kia was fighting in her corner. Kia fought it off. I'll give her a douche. I'd let her fight it off because it was fucking... It was madness. Complete madness. That's my garden. It's broke its way in there enough to get in. She's not even in season. She's not even in season. It's just running wild and free looking for food because her garden's got fucking bones in it. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
A fucking male pit bull like that just running wild and free on a Saturday night because cunts round here just have got no respect for anything. They don't even respect themselves or the children. They just go open the door and let this hungry beast run wild and free. Honest to God, it's lucky I've still got hands. Lucky I've still got my fucking hands.
You said a few voices, so as soon as I started hearing the voices, I muted you up. So.
Honestly, that's what I mean. I'm in a domestic situation. You know what I mean? Domestic situation, and I'm fighting off fucking pit bulls in the front garden.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Mad. Do you know what they like round here? Honestly, do you know what? Yeah, I get on this, Dean. Listen to this. 8 o'clock last night, right? It started up the street, and it didn't finish till 8 o'clock this morning. How's about that? And we're talking parties, sorry, in the garden, screaming and shouting all night long, with the loudest sort of music, like they don't give a fucking shit for anybody. They don't care. They're psychopaths, and they've got psychopath dogs as well.
Right.
Has it always been like that there?
Yeah. It's got worse because like when I was a kid, when I was growing up, there was gangs, there was all sorts going off, but there wasn't like people killing each other with grenades and shit like that. Now it's like it's just warfare and that around there pretty much, and the kids are just, oh my God, they're in bad shape round there. They're in bad shape.
I can't remember one of your videos where you found that guy sleeping.
Do you remember that one, Peter?
Yeah. That was amazing, man.
Man, that's normal.
I thought it was, at first I thought it was dead, man.
I mean, that was really mad. But that's pretty normal for around here. Like you just find people asleep and that in bushes.
Yeah, that was midweek, midday. Totally wasted.
It was a Wednesday dinner time.
Yeah, amazing, man.
Madness, complete madness. But I come across stuff like that every
yeah, but that's the park, right? Where you walk.
It's like a canal towpath. That it's just on the canal towpath, and like it leads onto like a big green piece of land where I take care. And it's, you know, I get a bit of sanctuary on there, Peter. I really do, because it's just me, my dog, and nature. And then you bump into like people asleep on the floor.
Occasional bum.
And the occasional bum, yeah, as well as some psychopaths.
Wow.
Yeah. Honest to God, that was what I've just experienced is indicative of everything. It is. It's indicative of everything. Like, wow, like you've got a dog like that, a big male one. The males are aggressive. I've got a female one, but she's under control. Do you know what I mean? Like I know what I'm fucking doing. I'm responsible, like everybody should be. And some people are not. Some people are not. Not responsible. Just Saturday night when you're drunk, just open the door or open the gate and just forget about it.
Yeah, well, you got animal lovers and animal haters, so.
Yeah, and you know, oh God, that was horrible. It's my heart's been raced by it, and everything is disgusting. That's took like minutes off my life. That I don't need stuff like that. You know, I'm in my house on a Saturday evening enjoying a chat room, and I've got madness.
Fucking adrenaline running.
Oh, you don't want to live around here, honestly. It's fucking wild. Wild. That's why I get amongst the green guys.
Nice and quiet earlier, so just keep listening to yourself, really.
Honestly, I'll give it my dog there. Do you know what? Listen to this. If I'm a dog lover, I'm an animal lover, but if I would have had a little bit of fluff on a lead, it'd be dead by now.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Dead. Because Kia's been attacked countless times, and I've had to let her fight him off all the time because she's fighting against big male pit bull. You know, just like, fucking hell. What am I supposed to do in that situation?
Yeah, it's not something you should jump into.
You don't, in your own front garden, you don't expect it, Peter, and you have to fucking help your own dog out as well. Because I don't know, like, my dog's a tough dog, but she's a female. She's not a male full of testosterone and hunger. Because their owners are fucking too pissed to even feed it and control it.
James is just saying it, chat room, Gunn. Have a bong and chill.
I know.
I think you don't.
Yeah, take a minute, man.
She's laying next to me, like, she now, her heart has stopped racing, like, she's now at a chilled moment, she's laid down next to me. She's, like, pretty much okay with how it turned out, really, because she ended up chasing it off, but, like, my heart's still racing. It's horrible. It's a horrible experience. I've just had to put up with. I shouldn't have to have to put up with that at my own home. Honestly, I can't walk up the street sometimes without neighbours' dogs running out and like having a go at Kim. I'm thinking, your dog, like, if Kim gets a grip of it and gets pissed off with your dog, and it keeps doing it, right? Do you know? Like, you don't even care about your own dog. You don't even care about your own dog. You don't even care. Just not asked.
You should carry a tear gas or something permanently.
Mate, I'd get nicked. Getting nicked for that.
That's it. It's like they're pretty bad there in Manchester for stop and check.
Stop and search, mate. Well, here's the thing: there's parts where they just don't even bother going, and I'm in the middle of one of them parts.
Oh, yeah. Right,
where they don't even bother going. Don't even bother ringing them. Don't even bother ringing them, because they ain't turning up.
Bit like my side then.
No, I mean, my side's different now. It's not what it used to be.
Oh, the thing.
It's still like, you know, if you look like a victim, you'll turn into one. But I don't look like a victim when I walk about. I know everyone. I know everyone where I live, so it's alright. But there's still a lot of psychopaths.
Oh yeah.
There's that, you know, that canal towpath that runs through the area. There was a canal boat stuck, and I ended up speaking to him. And do you know what they get told? Don't stop. Don't stop when you go through this area. Don't stop. And she was stuck. She was stuck. But luckily, she had like me to speak to.
Right.
But yeah, like they say, don't stop.
Have you been making those videos lately? You haven't, have you?
What, just me walking and talking, Peter?
Yeah.
I've been so busy with just like I'm on a project now that it's my own project that I'm trying to just increase my own freedom in a way. I'm just really concentrating on that, and I've not even been able to philosophize anything in my mind at all lately. That's why the Bong videos have not been coming out. I've just been like so bogged down with everything. You can't have time to think, and then like your stress builds up, and then you have this. If this would have been a few years ago, Peter, I would have been looking for that dog to go and cut its fucking head off. Right? That's what I would have been doing a few short years ago. Right? I'm not there now. I'm not there anymore. Like that was the past. That was the past. Yeah, you know, I still have madness chasing me about, but I'm still on that karmatic fucking roller coaster where I am nowhere near on a level playing field yet. I've still got a big fucking, you know, I've still got a big debt to pay, and raising my heart like that's all part of it, I suppose. Because that took some years off my life, or some moments.
Weren't sure what was going on, so I thought I'd just hit mute.
I'm glad you did, because like, you know, I've got family members here that are just like, fucking hell, what's going on? What's going on? You shouldn't have to deal with that. I mean, I'm in the middle of like moving shortly myself anyway. Do you know, like I've got to find, you know, I'm finding somewhere else to live, which is all part of moving basically off where I am because of how bad it gets. You know, it's
part of the project.
It's part of the project, but it's all like it's not. It's a benefit of the project, shall we say?
Okay.
It's giving me better options in life, so I can move to somewhere slightly improved. That's if that's the case, because it doesn't matter where you go at the moment. It doesn't matter where you go. I've had like multi-millionaire friends who live in multi-millionaire places where footballers live and that sort of stuff. And that's a different life. That's like, you go there and people are like, you know, they're friendly, they smile, and the roads are clean. Round there, it's like I say, the police won't even come round here. Police won't even come round here. But it ain't about me, it ain't about money, it ain't about anything for me. It's just about improving in my life. Really. It's cool.
Well, that's
Not being subjected to dog-shaped grenades.
Oh, it was, yeah. That was like an atom bomb, no cooker. That wasn't a grenade. I wish it was a grenade. I would have been able to throw it back. This
we
was
all
an
wondered
atom
what the
bomb.
hell had happened.
Sorry, mate.
We all wondered what the hell had happened to you.
Like I say, I've got a dog, and you know, she's just like gone to the front door as if to, you know, like this, you know, like if we've got an intruder, she's fucking well entitled to fucking chase that intruder out the garden. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't know whether it was a dog or a man. So the door got opened, and then obviously there's a fucking giant pit bull in the garden. Oh, wow.
Jesus, man, you don't need that on a Saturday night.
No, because like I say, they just get drunk and open the door and forget about it. And what it is because Kia, my dog, has just plenty of food. I feed my dog. She's got lots of like, you know, lots of stuff in the garden. So it must attract, but it shouldn't have got in anyway. It barged its way in, more or less. It was a powerful thing.
Well, I've just been to squeeze a rat's abscess, believe it or not.
Did that raise your heart levels? Good man.
I mean, there's animal lovers, and then there's squeezing rats' abscesses, right?
Yeah, then there's stages a lot further down the line. More power to you. Good man.
I was disgusting. You don't want to know about it.
You know, I'd do the same. I'd do the same for me dog. No problem. Would I squeeze that abscess course or? But like, it's just I shouldn't need to put up with that. I shouldn't have to put up with that. You know, garden.
You've mentioned it, so you've got to finish it off now. You can't just leave it at that.
Sorry, Dean. Sorry.
So you've mentioned it now, Ox. So you can't just leave it at that. You've got to finish it now, haven't you? You've got to tell us a story.
I've got a dicky stomach here after that incident.
I'm a wrong man.
I'm gonna shortly. I'm gonna. Do you accept me now?
Huxley.
Yes, mate.
Go on then, give us the story.
Oh, you were talking to me, the story about what, the rat?
Yes, mate, yeah.
Oh, what you really want to know? Which is just one of the pet rats, man. He's got this big, horrible, freaking abscess right near his dick, and
Oh.
No, man, and it needs regular squeezing and cleaning. And
Does he like it as well? Huxley. He allows you to do it as well. Am I coming through alright?
Yeah, can hear you.
Can I do? Dean, can
Sorry, mate. What did you ask me something?
Yeah, I was just saying, does he let you do it?
Well, yeah, he's not overly happy about it, but he's got no choice really.
Oh.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with my dog. Like Kia, she's, you know, you can see off my videos how close she is, and there's a gap in my life where there's someone missing out of my life, and she sort of bridges that gap, and almost to the levels of daughter, which is, you know, so it's that what's just happened there is like that's like, it's almost like beating up my daughter. Like, what are you fucking doing? Are you coming to my house to beat up my daughter? That's what's just basically happened. You know, and that's how much that's just got to me there. It was horrible. Can't wait to have this bomb now.
Yeah, you do get proper attached.
Yeah, they do become part of the family, I think.
Yeah, I love my dog.
Sentient beings, the sentient creatures.
Yeah.
And they're only here for a limited time, so.
Same as all of us.
Yeah, that.
Well, yeah, but compared to us,
entropy speed is faster than ours, isn't it?
Well, it's
everything goes faster with them.
I think it's not so much the amount of time we spend on the planet, it's what we do with it, isn't it?
Yep.
Time is relative.
Anyway, I've got to go. I've got to
Nice
be
to meet
quiet.
you,
I've been told I've got to be quiet, so I'm gonna have to keep it zipped.
Not a problem, exit.
Alright, so I'll catch you later, guys. Right?
No problem.
Joining.
Take care.
Bye. You chilled out now, John?
Yeah, but do you know, it's what I was talking about before about this karmatic roller coaster. I kind of sort of learned a little lesson there, because of late it's where somebody's around me is het humble pie, and I've been too happy that's happened. So I think that's probably where that's come from. Maybe, I don't know. That's how I'm going to use it in my mind to rationalise it. I've been way too pleased about something that maybe I should have just been like, okay.
So I sort of like take everything as it comes. I don't find point in building yourself up anymore for things, and it drops. You know what I mean? It's when you feel down about it, and then you go into it all, and then you're depressed. And you look at everything now as part of life. Shake your head back on them.
I'm totally with you there, Dean, as well. But it's I've never really gone into my past into any detail, apart from I was asked to contribute to a book which is still being published. It takes decades, but that was kind of a way of doing something good and changing the past by actually recognising it in terms of manifesting it in a book. And ever since then, my focus has been on improving my life, which is what my project is about now. It's about improving my life and changing my whole mindset, which I have done to a vast extent, but it's still not there yet. Not there yet. But none of us are there yet, are we? I suppose. So I'm just like everybody else.
Yeah, I was just going to add that if we got there yet, we would have all like disappeared in a flash of smoke up our own belly buttons. Yeah? And we ain't. We're still here, which means we ain't got it right yet.
Well, that's the part of life, isn't it? It's a learning experience, isn't it? And just when you're learning it, you think you've learned everything, something else pops up.
Yeah. Do you know when I'm stressed out? When I've not had time to do the things I enjoy doing, and instead of have to concentrate on other things, is I suppose when I get I forgot where I was going. I've lost my tangent, but it's I don't know, when I get stressed out, it's everything seems to. I watched a really interesting video. Don't know, some of you might subscribe to him. It's Psycho Driller.
Mm-hmm.
And he subscribed to Psycho Driller.
Yeah.
And he did a video where his candidness was like, it was so. It was on the money, but he was talking about how what holds things in, and then when it comes out in bile. You know, and it comes out to the wrong person, and it comes out in hate, and it's I used to be all about that. I used to be all about that, and avoiding that is central to everything. But it still happens. Stuff still happens.
Oxy's still with us in chat room. He's just saying, John, man, you're so right. We're all on the journey. Just all at different spots, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to think the past was haunted. It's not. It's not. It's just not everything's. Not everything's done yet. It's like it's not. Like I've just said. But what just happened there is really that's pissed me off. It's not. It's not. It's just stressed me out. It's made all my atoms in my body fizz. I don't like that unless I made that happen. You know what I'm saying? When the universe makes it happen, like it just has done, I don't like that because I need to be in control of making my body fizz, not the fucking universe.
The way around that is to make the best of what the universe has just presented you.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, yeah, but my dog's fucking. She's not dead. She's fine. You know, she did her job, and but
Exactly. There's no point dwelling on that subject.
no.
Good
It was a moment. It was a moment, though. It was a moment. It was a moment on a Saturday night. There was plenty last night on our street. I don't tell you.
You can look at it another way, John. It's an experience that's actually made you stronger.
Yeah. Do you know? But what do my neighbours think now? What do you know? Because it was all. Listen to this. It was all in the dark, and now I'm thinking in my mind. This is where I'm going now. Right? You're telling me this now, Dean. Right? Which is exactly what I should be doing. But in my mind, this is how human beings are. This is how fucking weird we are. In my mind, all I'm thinking now is my neighbours are thinking this. My neighbours are thinking that about me and my dog.
Yeah, in your mind.
Thinking the worst. Constantly.
Which is, it's a natural thing. In the morning, you'll probably look at it different. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I will do after a good couple of these bombs. So just give me time. Give me some time. It's still raw. The event is still raw, and it happened in the darkness, and that's what I don't like about it. It was a big thing, and it was, it was just like semi-light because the doors open. And it's just, it's the noise. The noise is horrible. It's fucking horrible. Horrible.
It sounded a bit violent, so I just thought I'll hit you, and he can sort it out when he comes back.
I've still got my hands, like I say. Still got my hands.
There you go. The brighter out.
Lucky boy. I'm not on my way to the the infirmary right now. A&E. I'm not on my way. So
That's good.
With rabies and tetanus. I think. Oh God. Well, it was something to talk about, I suppose.
Oh, it's right, man. It was just no, innit?
I'm gonna sleep tonight after that. I tell you, I'll sleep tonight. I'll sleep tonight. I mean, I don't know where you'd like. Obviously, Peter's. Peter's. Are you in Flanders there, Peter?
No, in Holland.
You're in
I'm
Holland.
Yeah.
Like where you guys are from. Like it's really strange how where you live. Even if you go to a couple of areas over, or maybe the next village or the next village over, how different things are. Like when I was speaking to this lady that I was going to get to before about this barge thing, and then she couldn't understand it. Like she was like, what do you mean? Like we got told not to stop, and like you're from around here. So I was like, yes. I was like, oh, I'm not surprised. Number one, I'm not surprised. And you stuck, so we got talking, and she couldn't comprehend. Like, obviously, I started opening up about how things are, in where she was passing through. She couldn't comprehend it in her mind. Couldn't even comprehend it. Just didn't get it. Just didn't get it. Like, bloody hell, she just wanted to get the fuck out of there. That's not all she wanted to do. It was go. Wow. The canal barge goes about 3 miles an hour. You're not going anywhere fast even when you get free.
remember going on one when I was a kid.
What, for a holiday? Right.
Yeah, it was with a school weekend, a long weekend on a barge. Great experience actually.
I want one actually. I fucking won't want to see him every day. Fucking, I think council tax, that's the way to go, isn't it?
Yeah, but you've got that covered with mooring fees.
Yeah, you still pay council tax via the mooring fees. And they've changed the laws so much on the count as a byway, I think, don't they? You're not. There's less and less places where you can just pull over. You have to go to official mooring sites, so therefore they get the council tax off you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just going to say. It was like,
Are they very much in that price bracket as well?
I looked at them years ago to buy one, and after I'd looked into like the mooring fees, buying your water, buying your water, you don't get it free. There's like quite a minimal places where you get it free. And to fill up a tank on one of them is a lot of money. And then you've got fuel. It just comes to a stupid amount a year where it'd be almost similar to living in a property.
Yeah.
So it was like, they do get around it. I mean, everything you need for a badge, you're taxed on. You know what I mean? And you're taxed heavily on.
Some of them I see some and I just think, wow, you've got it. You've got wood burners. They've got solar panels, and I'm just like thinking, is that the future? For me, just on a personal level, like, what the hell? I keep seeing these every day. Is it trying to tell me something? Is that the route to go?
Tell you one of the primary things that you should get, and it will cost you a fair amount of money, so it is an expense that you need to invest seriously, but it's one of the most primary things that will enable you to be in that kind of setup. It's a reverse osmosis filter. If you probably, Dean, on the barge, if you had been using a reverse osmosis, you probably could have just sucked up the canal water and used that.
I know, yeah. Have you seen the price of them?
That's what I mean. It's a serious investment. Yeah. This is not something to play around with, but if you're planning on altering the way you live, you can use things like the solar panel setups and something like a reverse osmosis with an oxygenation, I can't remember what they're called. You can put oxygenator. It adds extra oxygen into your water, so it makes it even better for you. All that kind of stuff are big chunks of money.
It is, yeah. I've looked at reverse osmosis before. It is a very dear do.
But it is the most effective thing you can get.
Correct me if I'm wrong though, your filters only last for so long as well though, don't they? I think you've got to change the filter on it every so often.
I think you do, but I've got no idea what the lifespan of them is. And the lifespan might vary by manufacturer and price and stuff like that, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you could always go to the natural source where you got a reed bed, gravel, sand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, build your own basic filtration system, but you won't be able to build something that's as fine in the way it processes down to micronic levels. It gets filtered, and it'll take most chemicals out, like fluoride and all the other kind of shit.
Yeah. I mean, there's hundreds of different ways of doing
all the heavy industry stuff.
Sorry, Peter.
I say all the heavy industry stuff you want to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The hormones.
Yeah, my moobs are big enough as it is now, thank you.
Oh,
yeah. I've looked into because I'd love to do that. I mean, just start off up on hills and dig out. I'd live quite happily at there. You know what I mean? It's got attached to community, you know, and I'd find some way of producing electric up there. I mean, I'm quite technically minded, and I've always been a tool man. You know what I mean? Like studying and things like that, I find a bit difficult. I have to go over things a lot of times before I'm thinking, you know, reading. But if I watch Craftsman, I can 9 times out of 10 walk away and do that job I've just watched. I'm like that. But,
recommend a channel. It's called Solar Cabin. SOLARCABIN. It's a guy in America. He talks about. He shows you videos of how to build small cabins, how to set up the solar power supplies for stuff like that. It is that kind of self-sufficiency setup. But he covers. You might have to root back a bit through all his videos or whatever, but he covers doing things like building solar power setups that would give you enough to power a fridge and stuff like that. Because that's another thing about this use of energy. Because of the way the majority of our homes are built and our society is built, it's not very efficient on its use of energy. Newer ways of building stuff are much more efficient, and at the same time, if we alter the way we live, a lot of the stuff we do, like our reliance on the supermarket, you know, part of the reason why so many people have got massive freezers is because we live via the supermarket, and you buy a lot of your food frozen and you stock it up and blah blah blah. Whereas if people were growing more of their own food combined with buying locally produced foods, you would have less use for a large freezer. That cuts down your energy requirements. Various things like that. Highly efficient lighting systems like LED lighting systems. There are so many solutions for this kind of stuff. I was going to say as well, look into things called earth ships. There's the word earth and ships combined. It's a technology of building homes that are highly efficient. They will even do things like self-filtrate your water. You don't need a reverse osmosis machine. The way they're built, they're set up, it goes through a big filtration system. You grow the plants within the building itself. Its heating is provided primarily from solar heated water and stuff. It's a lot of stuff, but it's a good project to look into if you haven't looked at stuff like that before. And I feel, even though that example, the like Earthship example, is a bit more cutting edge almost of like going out, because most of them started out in the desert in America where they first started working on the ideas. But it pulls in a lot of ideas of how we can use old and new technology and ideas together to make much better ways of building the environment we live within. This is not like Project Venus or nothing like that. This is how to use natural environment and natural techniques to make a kind of environment that we would prefer, i.e. you still got flushing toilets, you still got showers, you still got electricity, all this kind of stuff that we love in the modern age. You don't lose it, you can still have it. It's just a matter of changing how you generate that environment.
yeah. I mean, it's like what a lot of people don't know is like most motors, if you set them up onto a wind turbine, most motors, if you put them into reverse, do actually kick out power. You actually turn over from a motor to a dynamo. Granted, it's not a great deal of power depending on the size of the motor and the type of the motor, but a lot of them do actually turn into dynamos.
I hate to quote a TV program, but there's Gunn designs that probably we all know. I mean, there was a house on there that was actually so sufficient it was actually feeding into the grid.
Yeah.
using like the underwater ground piping. You know, we've got just a mixture of solar and all. It was a really efficient house.
This is where we get. This is where we get to the Agenda 21 fence, because as we've just been saying about living on a barge or on a canal boat, they won't let you go. And one of the tricks that they pulled here in the UK over the last few years, I don't know if you remember it, a good few years ago now, they offered sort of like a grant scheme from the government where you could get a lump sum of money to help you set up solar panels on your house. Yeah, and you link that into your grid. You have to have it done officially by the electricity company or, you know, an accredited company, and they have to give you a special new meter that connects you back to the grid. And the selling point was you can save money on your bills, and you may very well be able to produce enough energy that you actually sell it back to the grid.
Yeah.
It worked that way for a lot of people, but the trick of it was that they're setting you up in such a way that you have to be linked into the grid. Yeah, that means you get line charges, maintenance charges, all the usual charges that these corporations want. So they're still earning money out of you, and you are still tied into the teat of the grid system. As Agenda 21 gets further and further enforced, basically you will not be allowed to be self-sufficient. You will have to be tied into the grid. This also applies to things like water supply and shit like that. You won't be able to have a private water supply like your own well. You will have to have a connection to the main sewage system.
Yeah. Unless you had a reed bed in your back garden.
Yeah, you can do it like as long as they don't know about it. Yeah. But if you like, if they know about it in any way at all, they will come and knock in and demand that you have the infrastructure installed to your home such that you are then tied to the grid, and then you're subject to the charges that are involved in that.
Right.
In Germany, they've got a system where they use a car engine, a Volkswagen car engine. It's a small box system. It's just an engine, and it runs pretty efficient. It's for a diesel engine, and it's a generator. And they plan to have like 100,000 of them. And when you have plenty of them, they feed enough energy into the grid to run completely energy efficient, and you get money out of them. At least that's how they sell it. So the gas is paid, the cost of the engine is paid, the maintenance is paid, and your energy is for free.
I think we could use some of them in them tunnels, Dean. What do you reckon?
Yeah, hey, that's a point. You like come over with dog, and we'll go and have a walk with it.
Oh, definitely. I'll put
these engines run like 1 in 50 kilometers. So, and I know of engines in America that run in 1 in 50 miles. So that's like
the gallon.
And they stem from the 50s. So you can make engines very efficient that way also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring Keir up to your neck of the woods, Dean. You're not too far away.
Yeah. I just the students recently, you've possibly seen this, in a car.
Well, the next step is of course to run them on hydrogen, because a gas engine also runs on hydrogen. So it's just a pretty cheap modification.
Do any of you remember the Honda car, the hydrogen fuel cell Honda, that produced nothing but water? Whatever happened to that?
Mercedes took it. They're coming out. Well, yeah. They're waiting for the right kind of money from Brussels.
I think they're waiting for the more enclosed setup of this Agenda 21 virtual society system, you know, the grid, that like the digital currency and all that kind of shit that they want everybody to have. And once you're tied in enough, they will give us more what's the word for it? Advanced energy systems such as hydrogen generators and stuff like that. But while it's still a major resource, a major source of income for their pyramid system, they're going to continue milking us via the energy consumption, so oil, gold, coal, gas, you know, the standard model of how they generate energy.
Yeah, I think the oil companies themselves are pretty amazed that we're still putting up with the prices, the gas price.
They're eking it out for as long as they possibly can, so they get...
Yeah, because they have been pushing, they have been pushing peak oil for so long, and it has gone quiet completely.
Yeah.
You know, so it hasn't worked out. I don't know. So, but that's just, like you said, it's sitting on a shelf, and they'll wait until the right subsidies come out, and we in the end we pay all of the research, the development, the network, everything. So they don't have to invest anything into the network and anything.
Did you see? Sorry, mate.
No.
Yeah. Did you see the news articles recently? Them talking about bringing in black boxes in cars so that they can charge you per mile. Right, and this, interestingly, this news story came out at both the USA and the UK on the same day, but it was different stories. It was just exactly the same topic, exactly the same proposal.
Well, yeah. They tried it. They tried to push it here in Holland in 2011 and 12, and it got rejected because of privacy reasons.
But it's that kind of metering system that if once that kind of thing is implemented, then they'll allow us the next gen energy production, because they'll be able to just charge us per usage. Yeah, they'll be charging you every second for how many millivolts you've used and shit like that.
Yeah, I think right now they can do it with camera systems. So we over here in Holland, all the highways have camera systems with license plate tracking. So when you drive in Amsterdam and you cross there, and you go to the next city, it pings, and so it tracks your whole wherever you've been in Holland. So.
It's like the congestion zone in London. Like
yeah,
the majority
it keeps a record. It actually keeps a record, so it knows when you cross Holland from Germany and when and where and what time. And all
that. Full
so if you're ever up to smuggling anything, don't.
Where do you think this ultimate? Do you know? It's. I think life is almost a parody now. It's almost like a B movie, and for some reason we're taking part. I don't like that idea. But it's like some sort of 60s vision of the future. You know, this cubist dystopian Orwellian. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Well, think of it this way, mate. I certainly agree with you, definitely.
Have you seen the movie Idiocracy?
Idiocracy.
Think of it this way. How old is Kissinger?
No, 90 probably.
Yeah, my point being is, like, when him and his little cadre of people were planning what was going to be done to the next generation, it was the 60s. Yeah, so a lot of what we're seeing now was planned to be implemented now in the 60s. So it was by people like him. So do you wonder why it looks like some crazy dystopian sci-fi movies? Because that's what was going on at the time in the 60s. Yeah.
It is, and they play the long game, don't they? But that's even sometimes, you know, I look at the cars, look at the design of the cars and stuff like that. It's like this. I've seen it all before in a movie from the 60s.
Or Blade Runner.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry to jump over it. Idiocracy. Yeah, it's a good film to watch if you haven't seen it.
What year is it from, Peter?
It's not that old. 2010, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Will it be on Popcorn Time? It should be on Popcorn Time, shouldn't it?
Yeah, Idiocracy.
Has anybody seen the Royals Palace refurbishment?
The Royal Palace refurbishment?
Yeah.
What? Is it gonna get a pyramid?
It's a Royals Defend Palace refurbishment and new helicopter.
Oh, is it £80 million helicopter or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that little present for one of the Wales.
Royal Family defends the refurbishment of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's Kensington Palace apartment. Only an apartment, as well as the decision to lease a helicopter for the couple.
Those poor people. I feel so sorry for them. Yeah.
Can I include
the way they have to suffer? They really have to suffer to life.
They have to live the fairy tale life, and we have to put up with the after effects.
I wouldn't want to be in their shoes for 1 second.
I wouldn't want to live in a Ladybird book, Peter. But they seem to enjoy it.
4 million.
I don't know. No, not with what they are up to behind the scenes. No, that's not my thing.
Do you reckon some say they may or may not be lizards?
No, they're not.
Some say there's centaurs and goats and.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
I just think they
don't go there.
Better. Twisted fucking beings. I don't know. Why doesn't one of them stand up and go, I've had enough of this. Can it be normal? Can it? Well, not normal. Can it be average? Please. Someone's chopping something.
I'm here in Clippity Club.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. The goat thing.
I wondered what you were doing then.
The leprechaun.
I've never took any of that on me, never. Yeah.
They are actually, in reality, vampire platypus.
Vampire platypus.
Yeah. I'm not sure, actually, if it's plural. Is it platypi?
I don't know, but I'm not attempting to say it again.
Do you reckon if you met the Queen face to face and you looked in each other's eyes, do you reckon it'd be just like looking at your granny? Or would there be some malevolent or whatever it is? Is it benevolent? I don't know the correct word. There'd be like a fire in the eye there, the power within. Or do you reckon she's just a little old granny?
Yeah, I think you were right the first time. Malevolent. I wouldn't go anywhere near her because I think that it'd cause some kind of space-time continuum rupture. Yeah, there'd just be like some weirdness.
Yeah, testicular cancer or something. Yeah.
Do you reckon she's banging out radiation? Gamma rays.
She shrivels you nuts.
Yeah.
Well, she's the yellow cake queen. I don't know if you know. A lot of people don't realise.
What's that reference from?
Well, she has that for breakfast or what?
No, she owns the most mines where yellow cake is mined. This is a lot of what's going on in Africans in the African continent. is because of us controlling one of the major resources of the production of nuclear weapons. And she owns the most of that, yeah, the most mines. So she's a yellow cake queen.
On that note, I'm just going to nip to the little boy's room. Won't be a second.
Watch out for the bears.
And pit bulls.
Oh, that's going to be next, isn't it? The Google toilet.
Doing what?
Keeping track of how much volume you pee and poo. Yeah, probably analysing it, see what you've
Analyzing what you've been eating, yeah.
There'll be a whole new section on YouTube of people posting pictures of their sweet corn knobbly bits.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Brown.
This has really gone to the gut of this, hasn't it? He was hitting the heights of philosophy before.
Oh, sorry.
No, I love a spectrum. I love a spectrum. I've been up and down the spectrum.
I know, but that's what happens when a bear enters the room.
Yeah, but rather than going from like the colour white or the white light, the pure light through to black, you're actually going through to brown, which is just like, yeah.
That's the colour of the universe. The colour of the universe is brown.
Yeah, it's not shades of grey, it's shades of brown.
Going back to that, Cookie, what you said about the toilet.
What, you got a Google toilet, have you?
No, on a similar line, I said, before you know it, they'll be taxing you, and we'll have Wire-matic toilets.
Yeah.
You know, so it's weighing out what you've done and all that, and then automatically bills you on a tax.
Yep.
They'll probably pull them out now. I don't have copyright because everything you say or do on Google Hangouts and YouTube is automatically their property. If nobody knew that. It's actually in the rights, isn't it, Cookie?
Well, I know it definitely is on Facebook. I think you keep ownership of your YouTube stuff, but I'm no idea about Google. Google have got their own terms and conditions, so...
Yeah. YouTube as well. I was reading it the other day. Strange.
Did we start on ISIS and did we get anywhere?
No, you started on the video, but we had a little patch on it. Peter actually mentioned it earlier, but no, if you want to talk about it, talk about it, buddy.
I just think it's so transparent, and the metaphors, and even like Sky describing it as the propaganda I had merit. Like, this is what happens when the media give people or give things like UKIP merit, and then people change. People change and go and vote for something that they've been fed. It's all the same. Everything's mirrored. Everything's the same. And this whole blowback fear thing is come on my street. If you haven't got an AK-47, you're just the same as everyone else around there. In fact, people have got them around there. So bring that. You know what I mean? Like, no, it doesn't make no odds to anybody who just live a fucking average life. It doesn't make any odds. But it's just all this fear. For what?
Yeah, it's gonna get worse. It's coming home, so.
Yeah, that's.
And it's gonna be in your street, not on their street. Of course, it's not gonna be in those posh neighborhoods, but.
They want it. They want it this way. You see, I'm in the middle of where, suppose, the immigration experiment. I'm in the epicenter, of part of the experiment. You know, like in my city, shall we say? I'm in the middle of it, and it's got its good, it's got its bad, just like everything else, And but when you feed people hate and fear, you just point at the neighbours, because that's the nearest reference they've got. They point at the neighbours, and because the experiment has happened, they don't have to look far to point hatred and to point fear. It's all fed. It's fed directly into people's minds via the TV.
Or a computer screen. Or a mobile gadget now, or even fucking Google Glasses straight to the eyeball.
It's a fucking, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Even to talk about immigration without going down any prejudice tangent, or without it's so difficult. It's such a venomous topic, and to have a debate online about immigration with common sense and logic is impossible. Impossible.
Yeah,
Totally impossible.
it's completely taken out of context, the whole racist debate.
Totally.
But that's media.
There's people talking about it with zero experience of actually living it, from, say, a perspective of somebody who would never vote for any prejudice, political ideology of any kind. I could actually criticise part of it. I could actually criticise parts of it, but I could also give you the flip side of it. Both sides, both the good and bad. I could give you both sides, but people would either take one side or the other, and that'd be it split. Whereas I could give you both sides, and I'm still balanced in the view, because I have to be through my experience. But I've got these, I suppose, neighbours that would love to point the finger, love for social breakdown, because the first thing they do, I've said this to people, and they'll say, if you have social breakdown, the first people that are going to be attacked are going to be the immigrants, because it's been fed to you. That's the first people that people are attacking. That's why EDL have a following, and all these other lunatics.
I was going to ask as well, isn't it a false choice? I find it a false choice, because when it comes down to it, the question is, do you close the borders or do you allow immigration? I know there's all the points about like what level of immigration and stuff like that, but when it comes down to it, it's either the door is open or it's not. Yeah, and to me, it's a false choice, because the only reason that barrier's there is because we have all this bullshit about nation states and the control of resources. Yeah, if we can deal with those kind of problems, then people wouldn't have this, like at the moment, the economic imperative to move towards countries like the UK in search of a better standard of living. Because if the standard of living in their country was roughly the same as the standard of living in our country, the only reason they'd want to move over here is if they really wanted to live here. That means they'd be more likely to integrate and interact with people and be amongst their new place that they're living. But at the moment, it's all about enforced necessity. Yeah. So the false choice is, well, there shouldn't be a barrier in the first place. You're asking me to say yes or no to it being open or not, but it shouldn't be there in the first place.
The barrier is a piece of paper. It's a line. It's a line on a map, and if it's a piece of paper, it's a corporation. And just take the World Cup for instance. All the patriotic verve that gets the flock going, and what you're left with at the end of it. A burst bubble. That's all you've got at the end of it, a burst bubble. But as I say, like, in terms of immigration, if someone wants to have a debate on immigration, I could have a really good debate, a good logical, reasonable debate. and I could give people the benefit of my experience, because I could point to one neighbour and go, you see then, that family, they're taking the piss, right? Because they're rinsing everything to bits, right? This family here, that one's a nurse, that one's this, that one's that. They go out and do something like amazingly positive. They've come from somewhere and do something amazingly positive, and say 2 doors down, another family's taking the piss. If that's how people want to say, maybe rinsing the system is probably the best way. Rinsing the system. So there's your positive and negative right there in 100 yards. There it is. But what are you going to do about it? There's nothing anybody can do about it, because it's all part of the bigger game, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
It's all part of the bigger game. I'm well up for people like mixing in, and multiculturalism is a fucking belting concept, I think, but we all have to do more. We all have to do more, including whatever people call it. If you call yourself English, you have to do more too. You have to do more to help others to integrate too. Instead of pointing the finger, getting poisoned by Sky TV and then pointing the finger, because that's what we want. We just want you to point the finger instead of them pointing the finger at them.
Or offering solutions.
What do you think about this? How they're plugging the fighters from the UK going over? Just plugging it for a false flag here or what?
It's you know what, Dean? There's going to be some psychopaths that have gone over there and done some of the most disgusting things imaginable. Right, Dean, and they've come here, they've come back. Here's another thing about, I suppose, if we're going to talk about immigration as well, is remember Rwanda? What happened in Rwanda? Well, one of the key leading figures in that massacre of close to 1 million people was living in Longsight on Social Security. Living
it already happened,
in Manchester on Social Security. Right, where's the checks and balance? Where are the people checking? Like, what's going on? What's going on? And then these people are going to be allowed to come back in and commit whatever atrocity they feel like doing, if that's what they want to do.
Well, the example has been set with the beheading of that big guy.
That's them, innit?
You want to... Okay, but just look at it, how it's sold or whatever you want to...
Well, it's all part of it, isn't it? It's all part of it.
Something more along the lines of like the 7-7.
Yeah. This Dean, it's a horrible thing to think that young men who primary schools and nurseries and have the benefit of everything. Whatever this, I know we're not fully free, but as free as it probably gonna get because you live in Mordor. And then you go to another country and do something like that.
I know it's an horrible subject, but the sort of stuff they do to keep the fear factor running, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also the focus of those secret agencies, and it's not snooping on the good and the innocent people. It's finding the rotten apples and creating evil people. That's what they are very much up to, and that's why they are scanning the internet, looking for those guys who are,
It's also something that's been. It's a technology of empires, and it's something that the British have excelled at for a long time, and they've been doing it for a long time. We host terrorists and extremists and fundamentalists, whatever, the bad people. We host them in our country so that we have them as a resource. Yeah. So when we want to go and cause trouble in a certain ethnic area, we just go, right, who's the opposing ethnic group? Okay, he's living in Hackney. Well, let's expel him back to his home country, but then we'll send some MI6 out there with him to give him funding to set up an opposition insurgency. We've been doing it for well over a century of recorded history that I can think of. Yeah, this is something the British Empire is good at. So it doesn't surprise me when people talk about there's such and such person living here in this country. It's like, yeah, because they've been allowed to be here.
It's yeah, but I mean that should be the case. That should be the case. But you know, with a controlled manner, using logic and using reason and using resources correctly in a humane way, and we've got detention centres where we're putting rape victims in, like prisons. Have you seen what's going on in Australia? You know, did they get their blueprint from us, or are we blueprinting from them? Is it possible?
Australia has suffered. Australia has suffered the 1984 regime stronger than us because there's a lower population there, so they've been able to implement it a lot easier.
Here, the children go missing.
I mean, and you know, who are we to say of anybody moving about anywhere after our nation's history? Who the fuck are we to say? But as I say, like you know, I can point to one family and go, fucking hell, they're, you know, the criminals. They come here to cause crime. There was criminals in their homeland, and they come here and they're no different. And then look at the family of nurses across the road. They're all like nurses and stuff. So you've got, like, you know, you've got both sides, and who are we? But the media, they just love it. They love it because where will it end? Cupcake? Is it? Bloody hell! We can't let Syria happen here. We can't let what's gone on there happen here. You know.
It is going to get to that kind of stage, I feel. I've said this for a while. It's going to grind and grind and grind until it gets a kind of environment like in the film Children of Men, where you will have large ghetto areas of cities, like in Detroit, where something like 2/3 of the city is basically fallen into complete disrepair and has become ghost town, and they can't even afford to police it or provide services to it and shit like that. You'll get the rise of the underclass nomadic cities and ghetto towns like the favelas in Brazil. We will experience that kind of level of deprivation of living standard, and at the same time those who do still actually earn a living because they play within the system in one way or another, whether it be legally or not, whatever, you know, if they can generate enough wealth they can pay to be part of the system, they'll get more and more gravitated into gated communities, and those gated communities will grow until they encompass entire districts of cities. That kind of shit, that's already evidence in places like Johannesburg, yeah, where they use private security to secure wealthy areas of the city. So in other words, that very district itself is governing itself because it's providing its own security and paying for its services and shit like that. That is where they will be driving us to.
Okay, come to Manchester.
It's a metropolis, isn't that one step up on a city?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, if you look,
1927 metropolis.
Yep.
if you look at it in a way, John, they've already got a little step closer to that around Manchester and Blackpool and that, with putting the gates on the back streets.
Well, very good point, Dean. Very good point.
What I mean,
my communities, my estates that surround me was full of like rabbit warrens and back passages and alleyways, and where all sorts of things were going on, but where all sorts of not only bad things, children played, and there was you know, women chatted at the back gates and stuff like that, and you know, all things, I'm not saying all things used to be, but everywhere's getting gated off at the moment, everywhere. For a level of control, because they're also, when you find these gated places, they're also very, very CCTV orientated as well.
I'm actually guilty of doing the ones in Blackpool.
Is that your handiwork, Dean? I hope you. Well, no, I'm only joking. The Universal sort it out.
I'm actually guilty of erecting those gates in Blackpool.
I think selective. I think selective. Like it cut down on maybe like rampant and over drug use and dealing, but it's just moved business elsewhere. In fact, it's moved it more into the open rather than covert. From around where I live, anyway.
Well, the policeman I was working with, I was actually doing the project for him. It was actually quite a fine guy. Actually, he was sound. I won't say his name or anything, but he was sound. Like, and he actually offered me a full-time job to do all the servicing and everything on them. So I enjoyed doing it. Actually,
It's anything, you know, like anything where you're using your brain and your hands to build something or to erect something or to manifest something, it makes you feel good. Here's a terrible thing. I used to work for a company that used to make McDonald's drive-ins in a day. Our company was famous for being able to take a plot of land and serve McDonald's at 5 o'clock. You know, take a plot of land that had nothing on in the morning and serve McDonald's at 5 o'clock. So it's all done prefabricated in units. You know, in a massive unit, in 3 pieces. The McDonald's drive-in comes in 3 pieces on 3 trucks. You just stick it all together. Yeah, we was in house.
That's a good demonstration of the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's coming from German concept, isn't it?
That's the future of housing.
The prefabrication is a good metaphor as well.
Yeah.
Everything's prefabricated.
Yeah, future of housing.
Corporate crap producer, ka-chunk. There you go, you've got one.
Yeah, just all you need is a slab of concrete, and we'll have it done by 5 o'clock. You can start taking money at 5 o'clock.
All listening devices come free.
Yeah, that was a soulless or a soul destroying experience.
Have your Acme box.
You know, but like we used to also do the other things, like, because the bricks were, it looked like it was made out of bricks, but the bricks were like an inch thick. Not even that, it's in some cases, and you just glued them on. You know, you glued them onto to like rails on the wall, and then pointed it with like icing bags, like you do icing sugar with, but obviously a bit more industrial. So it looked like, you know, a brick building, but it was made out of shite.
That is just taking the mickey out of prefabrication, that.
No, but mostly modern car parks, mostly modern buildings are just steel frame with panels screwed on, and it's just cladding basically, whether it's glass or whether it's faux brick. It's just everything steel frame and cladding nowadays.
So I was a scaff for 10 years, so I used to go and do all the unrailing of the steel framework, so the floors could go in and floor it. And the roofs and everything, and all the platforms and everything where they needed to work off. But I'd actually run like sites from your own guys on it. They building trade up most of working life.
I've done a bit of everything in my life. I'm quite lucky where it's been very, very varied. It's not all positive. It's not all positive at all.
Same here.
I don't think anybody's life's all positive, is it? It wouldn't be life if it were all positive, would it? Unless you've got a silver spoon hanging out your mouth, and you know, it's called life for us, isn't it? Life in the slave world.
It's amazing how much you miss, though. You know, just through the exuberance of youth, I suppose, where you think you know everything. You absolutely know less than zero. You're not even close to zero. And then I find that, you know what I find really joyful now is listening to say a Bob Marley track and listening to the words properly for the first time, even though I may have heard the song countless times. And then like going, my God, fucking how did I miss that? How did I miss that?
Are the rats eating your pie?
Mm.
The pie rats. Sorry. It's something I put under my logo thing last night. Oh, pie rats, yes, Faye, Rabbi.
It's a joy. It's a joy.
She was like that, and it slipped my mind when everything got into speeded up conversation. So you've answered my question from last night. Thank you, Cookie. Sorry, John. Carry on, mate.
I don't know. I forgot where I was now. I forgot. But it's there's a little bit of joy of going back over things. Like I remember one of the first when something first happened to me that was kind of conscious of it, and I was like, "Fucking, this is weird." And the thing that gave it me was a certain amount of a certain drug and a certain album, and it lifted me clear, you know, of whatever you think is your conscious all this, and it was like, wow, like the first time I really got like fucking, you know, everything is more there's more effect on you, that all this vibration, all these good things that are around you if you plug into them. But I wasn't really. It just happened, and then just like I say, through the exuberance of youth, you forget about it instantly, and move on to the next thing without going, hang on a minute, that was an important moment in my life. And it would be something I'll think again about, you know, later on. But you don't see it that way when you're young. You don't see it.
Part of growing up, isn't it? You know what I mean? Everyone realises at a certain point that it's, wow, life's changing. I'm growing up now. It's time for change perspective in life.
You can. I get this kind of effect anyway. I feel I can. Maybe it's just because as I'm getting older, it stands out more to me in that kind of fashion, like you just said. You watch the faces of babies and infants, in particular, when they do something for the first time, and you just see the look of wonder on their face as they're trying to figure out what's this thing that I'm experiencing. Wow, what's going on? Yeah. Even things as silly as like baby's first major fart, and you see the look on their face like, as if to say, what's that? Yeah, that reconnects you to that experience of experiencing the new. Yeah, and those memories, I think there's enough evidence to show this. Those memories are still there in your head. It's just that your conscious mind gives precedence to the memories that you think are more important to you. So the stuff like that gets shuffled further and further and further back as you're getting older. And then when something happens that brings them up, you'll go, oh, wow, yeah, I can remember feeling like that.
You know, when you get in bed and you get covers over you and you get like, oh, I get a nice warm bed, and just what you did as a kid, and you're like, right, nice and comfy and cuddled up.
I've been getting some, I don't know if it's just lately, I've been getting some really strange reminders of childhood, whether it's smells or whether it's memories that are just being jogged by strange things. It's never nothing normal that's jogging the memories, it's always something weird that's happened. And then they're not negative, they're really, really positive memories. And I never really used to have that many positive memories about my childhood, and now I'm having these little ones. It's each little moment means something to me. I stop. It makes me think, and it's like I treasure that little that little smell, and I can smell it again, and it reminds me of a little moment when I was happy when I was a child, and that's good. You know, that's really good. Because many years and years and years, I used to spend a lot of time trying to forget things. So remembering things in a positive way is good.
Two things. Smell is supposedly the strongest initiator of memory. Your sense of smell will initiate memories more readily than any other sense, and at the same time, your recall of smell will be better than anything of your other senses.
It gives you a really good image for some reason. You know, it puts you almost in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
And
strange.
the other thing I'd say is, and I mean this is a little bit of speculation on my part, but I think there is a certain amount of sort of evidence and whatever to back this up. Traumatic or bad memories, not necessarily suppressed memories. Suppressed memories, I think, could do this as well. They'd work a little bit like a black hole. But bad memories are a bit like a gravitational force to the rest of your consciousness. So the bad memories sucks your attention towards it, and it means other memories get sort of thrown out to the periphery. So in the classic kind of usual feel-good statement, you know, it's like concentrate on the positive, not on the negative. Concentrating on the negative will just generate more bad thoughts, things like that. I'm not saying to people that they should ignore the negative, not at all. But I think this is a lot of what happens, that gravitational pulling effect. And when you deal with that bad memory, however you deal with it, address it, accept it, deal with it, whatever, it's sort of like unclogging a plug hole. And all of a sudden, all your other memories will be freer to move around, and you'll be able to look at them. Oh yeah, there was that one, and there's that one, there's that one. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense, Cooker. And if I can add to that, if I can give any more advice on top of that, is if you don't really know, like for years and years, Cooker, I didn't know who I was. I was a product of multiple things. So my personality was, I'd never centered it. So I was very, very negative, reactionary, you know, for very, 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 you know, what you would call valid reasons, really, as being a product of an experience. But when it actually came down to it, and I eventually got there, someone actually said, the first thing he said was write down your story, or just let me listen to you tell your story, but tell your story like you're trying to tell somebody, like it's a story, but it's about you, but it's all true, all from memory, and that eventually led me to really get centered, and I'd say write down your story. That's good advice.
Yeah,
really good advice.
A lot of the time, for most people, whatever the memory is, you know, even if it's just a bad memory, not necessarily something that's really traumatic or severe or whatever, but externalizing it in any manner, whether that be painting, drawing. This is why art therapy works quite well for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Talking about it, talking therapies work for people. Externalizing it helps you be able to deal with it. And it is a little bit like your inner eye doesn't want to face it for whatever reason, but as soon as you externalize it, you are able to look at it in a metaphorical sense. So you can go, right, it is this. I can now think about it and look at it and address it and blah blah blah.
It's this is what I was working on. I was telling my story, which was being recorded, and then someone was helping me, like, really get myself centered, and it was, how can I explain it? It's when you bring out a bad experience that you've suppressed, that you've put in, say, I used to have a metaphor which was the monsters cupboard, you know, the scary cupboard, where you put everything scary in, you shut the door, pretend it doesn't exist, and then you use substances all your life to try and cover that cupboard over. It's kind of, so when you actually pull out one of these scary experiences that you've been afraid to even acknowledge, what happens then is what we was doing was to stripping away the negative or the positive, any sort of you know, side of the seesaw. He was just looking at it as the experience in itself, and being able to look at it from different perspectives. And that was a huge breakthrough for me, because when eventually I got through all these monsters out of the cupboard, what was left at the bottom of the cupboard was the childlike me that I forgot about, the real me, who was positive, who was thoughtful, who was passionate about different things, and it was like finding yourself literally, like quite literally doing it. It was an amazing experience, that amazing, but that took someone amazing, me meeting someone amazing for that to happen, and it happened at the right time. So, and sometimes it's difficult to do by yourself. You need somebody there to coax you through this path of getting to the bottom of whatever it is that's been troubling you. Getting to the bottom of it.
Yep.
And after that, it's all beautiful. After that, you start going out with your dog and appreciating flowers.
Yeah. The thing is, eventually, though, you get to that quiet, contemplative smile, where people on the bus look at you funny, like, what's wrong with him?
Like you know something, they think you know something, but you're not sure what.
Yeah. Whereas you're just looking at something outside the window or whatever, and just yeah.
A lad at work said to a young lad, he says, "Why are you always happy?" You know,
because I know who because I know who I am. I've found myself.
Yeah.
It took me 30 odd years, but when I got there, here's the mad thing about that monsters cupboard analogy. I got to do a bit of public speaking a couple of years ago after writing this book and being involved in what I just told you about, and I told the story about how we did it, how we found me, and the full thing about who the child was at the bottom, and I've got a really good reception of loads of people coming up, tears at the end and stuff like that. But there was someone staring at me like from the back of the room, and she waited till last. She waited till last, and then she come over and she went, I've been waiting for someone to put that into words, because that's me. That's everything. You just put it into words, and moments like that are amazing. Like, wow, if I really told you about my background, you wouldn't even speak to me. You know, like what I've done in the past, that I've covered up, and you know, that I've suppressed, and that all the monsters. Some of the monsters were fucking horrible things. And yeah, I've not told you the full detail about it. I've not gone into each one of the monsters. But eventually, you know, like I ended up working with this woman. I ended up working with her. She come and joined a project I'm working on. And so it's inspiring. It inspires other people, I suppose.
but main thing is putting everything behind you and getting on with it now, isn't it?
Well, what I had to do was forgive myself, that kind of thing, because whatever's happened to me, shall we say, whatever happened to me, whatever people did to me, and whether it was, doesn't matter anyway, whether it was a child or whether it was an adult, whatever, right? It's you know, it's happened. Like I say, it's looking at the experience without the positive and negative, and like I have to forgive myself for what I've done for other people. But I never used. This is what some people couldn't understand, was when I was explaining forgiveness. The concept of forgiveness is flawed. It's a flawed thing, because people put a lot of eggs into the baskets of this. I have to say sorry to this person, and if they don't take me apology, oh God, I can't get over it. Well, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Just say sorry to yourself, and that should be enough. You know, that should be enough. You have to center yourself again and get yourself right. You know what I mean? Like, don't rely on other people to make you happy, even if it's even if you're apologising for something. It's just some people don't understand that. They don't kind of grasp it. It's like, what, forgiveness is flawed? Yeah. If you're putting all your eggs in one basket.
Giving away your authorship.
Yeah. You have to apologise to yourself. That's what you need to be apologising to. You know, get yourself right, and it's after that. it's still a learning. Everything's every day's a learning thing.
Yeah. Every day is a learning curve.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know when the book comes out, and that's where all the monsters, all the monsters are in the book. I'll let you know when that's coming out. No, I won't actually. It's in a pseudonym. I've kind of put that in the real persona, legal persona, shall we say?
Yeah. No worries, but good for getting it off your chest as well, man, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It makes people. I know people close to me who they carry everything around, and I used to constantly do it, carry stuff. And then eventually, like I was talking about Psycho Drill about that video, how his candidness was like, oh, it was refreshing in a way, but also like, you know, like I don't even know if I could be that candid, although I probably have been tonight, I suppose. But just to your subscribers and stuff like that, and just say something like that was amazing.
Yeah, it's you know, everybody has different ways of coming to terms with themselves, and you know, like what they've done in the past, and
Well, yeah. I mean, I served my time for stuff I've done as well.
yeah,
Served time, so it's not like I've got away scot-free with my life. It's not. I've paid my dues. Prison isn't pleasant as much as you might, you know, if you believe, like none of us here do what we read in the media, but it's, you know, it's still not pleasant. It's not a pleasant thing. As well as, you know, it's not, we're not in South Africa, but it's still not pleasant.
yeah.
But here's the thing: when you come out, here's the weird deal about it. When you come out, and this is happening to this a debate about young people now. If a child has committed a crime, shall we forget about it when they turn 18 to give these young people a chance in life? Because everything is criminal records check in terms of employment. So when I came out in terms of employment, it was like I tried. Don't get me wrong, I tried. It was like I spent 2 years just like trying, and it's eventually you have to find your own way. It was like I'm glad no corporation took me on, because I've been able to find my own way and find my own business, my own employment, my own way of making money, my own way of surviving, instead of, because of my record, having a stack shelves if I got lucky.
Or, no, you got to that crossroad, John, and you took the right path, didn't you? You know what I mean? Like, at least you can look back on it and say there is light there, and there's only one person that can reach that light is yourself.
It's yourself, Dean. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So,
I mean, it helps talking about things.
can you imagine, Dean? Can you imagine sitting at home on a Saturday evening with a lottery ticket, and that's your world? Can you imagine?
I know.
That happens every Saturday. That ever happens up and down the country.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I know this is going to be a bit of a tangent, but somebody's just put in the chat room, made in UK, hello, mate. Put in the chat room, Manchester High Street goes cashless.
I know that, but I was like allowing John to finish before I dipped in. But
I ain't seen any. Yeah, I didn't know.
No, I finished, I think. I finished that, Dean.
No worries. Thanks for that, John.
No problem, man. I like a bit of honesty. We should all be honest with each other. I have nothing to hide, me, you see. Here's the thing is, I mean, I'd never go into however I survive, because that's my business, you know, it's not it's not even my neighbour's business. It's just my own thing. It's how I survive. But as far as giving you an honest take on my life, I suppose I like doing that. I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I've actually just been offered to try and speak to some guy who's I'll speak to some youths. He's helping us set up some football teams. Some youth football teams. And it's like, oh, you'd be good at speaking to the kids and all that. You're all right. I'll be telling them to get away from football. You don't want me near you kids. I'll be telling them to get away from it.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think he's going to pencil me in for
that. I'll just have a look, see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, with this high street.
That's what I was asking, because I thought you might have heard something about it. I haven't seen anything about it.
Well, I'm just trying to see where I've copied and pasted the what's it that he's put on. And no, there's none of that coming up. What is? Have you missed something off the HTTP? Off the URL? That's what I'm looking for.
High Street, that's cashless. I think Jam Noise, I don't know if any subscribe to her. She's she made a video about cashless society.
That was about the London buses, so.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they're talking about not using cash on the London buses anymore. You got to have some kind of digicard.
They are working towards it here. We got cashless shops, but not complete high streets. But the shops are here, but no cash.
The prison system's cashless. Is a cashless society.
The public transport system here is cashless.
I wonder if they work it all out in the prison system. Does this work? Does this work?
Pardon me?
But do you remember when credit cards came out in the early 80s, or when it was really pushed out? I can remember the first adverts years ago, and everyone was talking about there's going to be a cashless society in the early 80s. It never materialised, did it?
Everybody see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not near me, that anyway. I would have known if that wasn't close to me.
We don't have audio.
Experiment, as many shops now prefer plastic. Do you prefer?
Sorry, I'll try again. It's Sky this. I'm just wondering.
Into a cashless future.
Okay, thank you. We're just trying to take card payments today.
Shops here on Beach Road in Manchester have more and more customers paying by card.
That is the way it's going.
It's just an experiment.
Paying on your mobile as well. There's a lot of other ways to pay than just cash.
Every business on this road, which is lined with independent stores and cafes, now accepts card. Some do so more reluctantly than others. But they're taking part in this cashless experiment, as many shoppers now prefer plastic. Do you prefer to use cash or card?
Card, it's much easier.
I prefer use of a card and it's less in my pockets.
Yeah, I use cash for small amounts, but a card if it's a bit more expensive.
Last year, spending on cards reached a record £500 billion here in the UK. Cash use has dropped by 14% over the last 5 years. But more than half of all small businesses still won't let their customers pay by card. That's often because of the cost to the store, particularly if people aren't spending much.
It's not ideal for us to take credit and debit cards, as there is a charge associated with them. It costs us 17 pence for a debit card, 1.6% for a credit card, plus a penny for authorisation. We normally charge 30 pence to the customer if they spend less than £6. But today, to encourage them to use cards, we're going to waive those charges.
Is it all right to use the contact? But retail experts believe advances in technology mean the costs will come down, encouraging more and more businesses to take card.
I think there will be a point when we don't use physical cash anymore, and I don't think it's that far away. We've reached a point where we don't use cheques anymore. I don't know when the last time I wrote a cheque was. And I think that the only reason we carry money around is because it was the way to pay for things in the past. The way to pay for things in the future isn't going to be with physical cash. So not long.
Oh, yeah.
I say 10 years.
People here may well have had a taste of the future. Becky Johnson, Sky.
Well, we are way past that here. We are like 99% of the shops you can pay with card, and I think 80% of the customers use card. So.
Pushing to the cashless society, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
the only shop that doesn't take a card is the coffee shop. Because it shows up on your banknote.
Yeah.
And the prostitutes. they take cash.
Cash only.
So it didn't say that the shops won't take cash. It's just saying that they're taking away the charges to try and encourage people to not use cash.
Yeah.
Right, but it also said like 58% of the shops don't accept card.
Yeah.
That was pretty high.
Yeah. And I think the 14% less using cash, that might just be because people use their cash in other ways, like paying prostitutes.
What? What was that then?
Hookers and blow.
Are we bartering with prostitutes when money runs out? Is that what we're doing?
Oh.
Well, it's going to regulate all the criminal money if we live in a cashless society, so.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And all the drug money goes to HSBC or...
That's the biggest dealer in the world.
Well, we had a bit on the No Agenda show about the tax rules they forced from Brussels, where they have to include the hookers and blow within the national income now.
Do you know what?
And apparently in Britain it's like 13 billion.
I've seen something about England doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the EU rule. And France has not accepted it. They don't want it. But that's obvious. They've got so many hookers. Especially the politicians.
Oh, I can't remember what we had anyway. England to include drug money in the, what's it called, Peter? The yearly
GDP.
GDP. Yeah. That's the bugger.
Well, does this mean we'll soon have the kind of Starbucks coffee shop like they had in Idiocracy?
I need to see this film. Let's have a look at this.
We've got Britain and Italy to include drugs and sex in GDP. Sex and drugs and GDP, what's going on. Italy to boost GDP figures with drugs and prostitution. UK ads on drugs and money and prostitution to GDP economy figures. Sex, drugs and GDP on Wall Street Journal. Drugs and prostitution to be included in UK national account. Italy to include prostitution and illegal drugs in GDP. UK to include 17 billion prostituting industry and illegal drugs.
Are we live?
Yes.
1 second.
And then everyone saying sex and drugs are 10 billion to UK GDP. BBC Small Talks the way drugs and prostitution for BBC.
Well, sort of along that line, I'm going to go and generate some drugs and some prostitution, because I'm going to go to sleep. And when you sleep, your brain generates DMT, and you can experience a whole different world where any kind of fantasy that takes your fancy can be fulfilled. So I'm going to go and generate some of my own drugs.
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do the same.
It's coming up towards 2 AM, so...
Well, what we'll do on that note, we'll call it a night, and I'll just thank everybody for joining us in chat room, and
yeah, thanks everyone.
Chatting between yourselves, and cheers, Cookie. Thanks, John. Thanks, Peter. Anything you'd like to say before I call it?
Sorry for the madness earlier on.
Alright, it's no problem, mate.
Nothing to apologise for, and thank you for hosting it, Dean, and thanks to everybody in the chat room.
You're welcome, no problem. Anytime at all. On that note, I'll say good night to everybody, and thank you very much.
Good night, guys. Good night, Pete. Good night.